Sound of Violence.
Isn't that about the clearest possible conflict of interest that you could possibly get for an organization that already has a history of changing results they don't like?
Well, no, Jay, you got it all wrong. I mean, they have a governing body that they've appointed to oversee these things, so it's okay. It's all above board.
And Chatri is a man of honor and respect.
I mean, this is about integrity, Jay. How dare you?
This isn't Western martial arts. This isn't Western martial arts.
You're right.
They're building heroes, Jay.
They're building movie stars.
A universe of heroes. Come on.
For billions and billions of watchers around the world.
Potential.
Watch and being inspired by these heroes, Jay. And you just get upon them.
Didn't you see the COVID relief concert they put on with Lady Gaga?
I mean, man, they blew it out of the water. They raised like $150 million by themselves.
Yeah.
They got Celine Dion and LL Cool J. Jay. Who did you get? Huh? Who did you get, Ben?
No, that was Chatri, not you. Man of honor.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast. Let you know the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, you can't miss each week. I am Pulver, and I am back yet again with my co-host, Chris Madaffer, on a Sunday night after the card. How's it going, man?
Doing well, man. You're not going to see me stressing out looking at my phone because the Padres already murdered Colorado earlier today, so that's nice. Don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, chilling, man. Really excited to crack open this beer. I know the one you've got, I'm sure you're excited about as well, and we'll get to that.
Well, you know
shortly.
which brewing company it's from. I don't know if you know which beer I have. And
I know, okay, so
if I tell you, you looked
Twitter,
at our, okay, then you do know which one I have.
I know, okay, all
I feel
I'll
real
say
conflicted about it. Let me put it that way.
It's a green-colored one with a UFC fighter's last name. Is it that one?
It sure is, and I feel real conflicted about it. But we'll get to that here in a second. But you know what? Yeah, let's get right into it. We'll start off with our Papa Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents, totally real, super not fake sponsors that we have for this week. So, Chris, what you drinking on?
So I am drinking a absolutely fantastic, marvelous collaboration, however many adjectives you want to add, because this is a very, very good beer. It is from North Park Beer Company.
I'm so glad you're drinking this, considering the one I'm drinking.
Okay, fuck it then. In collaboration with Modern Times, it is called Wizard Cup. And if you've had North Park Beer Company, they have a beer called Party Cup, which is a lager. This one is a lager with strata hops, which makes it more citrusy and piney. Basically a flavored lager instead of just a regular lager.
Yeah. And it's I've heard a lot of really good things about that beer, actually. Modern Times has been doing a lot of cool collabs. They just came out with that one with Stone, which was a coffee IPA, which is really crazy.
Had that one.
How is that, by the way? Because I still don't know how those flavors work.
I think you either like it or you don't, and I know that's
like a black IPA, kind of.
That's a very loaded answer because you can dive into two different directions with that.
Right.
It starts as a grapefruit citrus, like West Coast IPA, very flavorful, and it ends kind of like a coffee stout.
So it's almost kind of like a black IPA kind of feel.
I could see that, yeah. You throw some coffee in there and espresso specifically, but I enjoyed it. It was different.
Interesting.
It didn't blow me away. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, this is amazing. I was like, this is just good. I'm like, this is a good beer.
And that one has wizards in the name too, right? Like wizards and gargoyles.
So I figured out wizards is Modern Times like theme.
Yeah,
they love wizards.
Yeah.
And gargoyles, of course, is Stone. It was called Wizards and Gargoyles.
Yeah. That's cool, man. And then so they've been doing a lot of collabs, and it's cool to see them doing one with North Park Brewing Company, who's been doing a lot of collabs in general. I mean, of course, we talked about recently, and I'll probably drink in the second segment, the Black is Beautiful collab that they did, which is fucking one of the best Black is Beautiful beers I've had so far. It's absolutely incredible. And I guess that leads in well to the beer that I'm drinking, which I feel very conflicted about. But it's from the same brewing company that did the Black is Beautiful collab and have been very vocal in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. So I want to say that before I say that I am drinking Covington, the American Pilsner from North Park Brewing Company. I have no idea why it's named Covington. I'm 99.9% positive it's not because of Colby.
No, it's probably to do with maybe like some old street name, I would imagine. Somewhere.
I would assume something like that, or some like old North Park reference, something like that.
It's got to be something like that, yeah.
And I'm, of course, drinking this in the Four Brewers glass. Shouts out to Four Brewers, who'll come up later. And they actually, we'll talk about their episode they did on North Park Brewing Company, where they also had this beer. But yeah, this is just a fucking classic, delicious American Pilsner. It's on the like more traditional Pilsner side and less on the like hoppy Pilsner side that we get a lot of down here. Because we get a lot of like pretty hoppy Pilsners for this style, you know?
Yeah, I'd say so, because I think that, like we definitely have some clean Pilsners in general, like the one you're trying now.
Pivo and this one, yeah.
But yeah, hoppy is popular, and yeah, while Pilsners are light and clean, I see why it's popular to add hops, because San Diego drinkers love their hops. They love
especially I mean, dry hopping with something like a Citra or a Mosaic, like you just immediately turn into like a tropical bomb really quickly. Or like even some of the brighter old school hops, you saw like a decent amount of, which was, I don't know, it's interesting. I feel I like them both, but they're two very different kinds of Pilsners.
The only problem with this beer is it's almost too crushable. Like I'm already like downing it because it's hot as fuck.
Yeah,
and it just tastes so good.
That's gonna be the problem with mine, which is why as a backup I also have Key Lime Fluffies, which is the North Park Brewing Company Key Lime Parfait Sour. Which I'm very excited to try. I figured it's hot weather. So.
The only other backup beer I have is fucking Rolling Rock, so it doesn't really help.
Oh boy, that is not a backup beer.
No.
That's like a bowling alley parking lot beer.
Yeah.
That and Moosehead. I actually legit used to crush 12 packs of Moosehead outside.
Give me the Moosehead for sure.
Yeah, no, we used to legit crush 12 packs of Moosehead outside Mira Mesa Bowl out in Mira Mesa, and fucking every Wednesday when I was a teenager.
Mira Mesa Bowl or Kearney Mesa Bowl?
Mira Mesa. We would drive out to Mira Mesa on like Tuesday or Wednesday nights when they did like whatever it was, like fucking $20 to rent the lane or whatever, and we would just get trash out in the parking lot because we're all like 16. So we just drinking out of our buddy's trunk, we'd each buy like a fucking 12-pack of Moosehead.
Checks out.
It was a time. We got kicked out of that place a lot, but it was good shit. Anyway, I guess we should keep on moving on since we are not a booze podcast, despite my best efforts. But yeah, I guess our point is, if you're ever in San Diego, holy shit, go to North Park Brewing Company. Also, they ship, so if you're in California at all, you can get stuff shipped to you, and it's very reasonable.
All I know is I need to fix my posture for this, because if I'm like this the whole time, that's not going to work out. So
yeah. Well, you also fit better in frame when you sit back, so that should work pretty well. Cool, man. Well, we will go ahead and get into format. I don't know that I have much news this week, really. Like, I have some news pieces here and there, but we'll probably get to them throughout. I guess the only thing that stands out to me is that it sounds like TJ Santis is no longer the producer on the Anakin Florian podcast.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like Cody Murrow is taking over as like the full-time producer on that, which doesn't surprise me. TJ is doing the extra round show on Fight Pass. He's also still doing commentary gigs, and he's like basically a full-time teacher for his kid right now. So like, you figure I don't really blame anybody on having to like change gigs or shit changing up right now, and especially TJ. But hopefully that means that'll free up some more time for him to actually do some more between rounds radio stuff. Since I know he actually this week there was a lot more stuff that came out, but I know in the recent past it's been definitely been a lot slower on the between rounds front on Patreon. So I think that was the only really big piece of news. I don't think I have much of anything else other than Angie Hill was on Twitch for the UFC channel playing Snipe Down Regs.
I remember I saw you tag me on Twitter. I think she moved to Xbox, and which is ironic because like you asked me about Xbox games, but I haven't been on my Xbox in months. I've been all team PlayStation.
Well, to be fair, everybody is, and it isn't sounding like anybody's going to Xbox this next generation.
Well, it doesn't help that Halo Infinite was delayed, which was I was like,
dude, I think the consoles are getting delayed.
Yeah, I think like the only game I'm gonna pick up for Xbox is Cyberpunk, but just because I have.
Just because you don't have a PC.
That and the Xbox I have is slightly more powerful than the PlayStation I have, so it's like okay.
Yeah, 100%. The X is.
That's the main reason why.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though Ghost of Tsushima still looks red on the PS4 Pro, so go.
Yeah, I think I'm finally gonna break down and pick up a 1660 graphics card and just fucking actually do that.
The current state of your desktop, you can. Did you buy a pre-made one or
no? So I've got to set up Karen. I'm technically streaming this on Karen's computer, which was just like some random computer that her cousin gave her, who's like
cool.
a tech dude. It's all right. The processor's pretty solid. It's fine. I bought a new power supply recently since the same guy actually gave me a 970. That he refurbed, except he did not refurb it well because the shit still does not work. So I bought a fucking power supply for no reason other than to turn the wall behind the desk different colors.
You should be like one of those kids who has like that niche. I'm cooling my PC with water, and you see him like pouring it through the fucking.
Oh, for sure. By the time we get done with this, I'm gonna be in like a lucite neon fucking box. I'm actually gonna be streaming from inside my computer.
They're like, what's that noise? I've got 4 fans.
Yeah, dude, and they're all fucking lit up. I got the inside of this thing looks like the fucking WWE ring, bro. There's so many lights and screens.
Are you ready for the game?
Fucking Jesus. Anyway, so I think I'm finally gonna break down and do that, and actually, plus it'll probably help this show and all the processing stuff. But that is not what this show's about either. Although somehow all my weird hobbies kind of bleed into this, don't they? Speaking of which, I guess shouts out to Cook Serve Delicious. I've been playing a lot of that video game. Also, I've been playing a decent amount of the UFC 4 video game, and I don't know whether I hate it or whether I just mildly dislike it.
My quick thoughts. I played a bunch of the trial against Trevor. He was whooping my ass.
He's actually really good at those games.
Yeah, I think he won like 10 times. I won like 4.
Well, he's played all of them. And me and him have played a lot of that shit.
Our main complaint with the game is the gameplay's fine. It's just it should be at higher frames per second, even on console.
I mean, that's just forever the problems with every single EA game ever.
I feel like if you can do like a Dragon Ball FighterZ at
there's no reason to not have a 60 frame per second fighting game.
Should a fucking real fighting game have higher?
It's farcical that a fighting game doesn't have 60 a second. I just can't
fathom that. Understand? It's like, dude, it's like the simple 1-2 is like it should just be 1-2 and then you go to a high kick or a switch. It should be like fucking fast, like not like. It was like we were fighting each other trying to do Fight Night style, and you're just like, we're like, dude, this is so wonky, and it's basically who can fucking feint and time their overhand, or who can, Yeah,
it's a combination of like them trying to do like some Dark Souls-esque animation frames, but then also not really committing to that in any kind of serious way.
Because I remember most of the times I got knocked the fuck out by him is because he would like. I'd feint, duck in, and he'd catch me on like on a head kick. I knew the kick was coming, but since the game doesn't respond,
you can't get out of the way of it.
You just get kicked right in the head. With
and what's the most frustrating is the goddamn Activision games or THQ games rather from fucking a decade ago, literally a decade ago. The fucking THQ, what is it? UFC Undisputed 3, I think was like the last one. That was like 2010. I think is when that came out. Yeah, it had the Pride mode and everything. That shit was 60 second. That shit was 60 frames a second. The one before that was 60 frames a second. Like they could do it. It's just EA doesn't EA prioritizes graphics over.
Oh, I've already seen Madden just came out, and you're a moron if you get that. I already saw like on Twitter hashtag EA dropped Madden.
Well, they're not even making fucking NHL games this year, right? They're just like, we're good this year, bro.
I think so, but it's just no. They made one because Ovechkin's on the cover.
That's right. They just didn't do anything different. They literally just did a roster update.
That's why I am just so spoiled to have MLB The Show.
Yeah, that game is actually
the best sports game on the. It's like so much free content.
Yeah, it really is. Like 2K, NBA 2K is like this probably the closest second, just because EA actually tries on that, but they still litter it with every single level of like broken Ultimate Team bullshit.
And I'll stop talking sports video games, but a friend of mine who he works he works for the federal government. He's a Fed, but he doesn't have time to play.
I've heard that the Feds don't play, dog.
Yeah, but right, Jesus. So stupid. But he's like, hey man, I'll give you my account. Can you just get me some of the free players that are dope? And I've already beefed up his team. He's like, thanks. I'm like, all right, there you go.
Sure. I mean, that's exactly how fucking every rich dude played WoW, where they're like, hey, China, can you make this happen for me? You're like, yeah, all right, bro.
Yeah, except I did this without having to spend money, so that's nice, right?
Yeah.
But
because it's not a EA property, but
no.
All right.
They actually reward you for being decent at the game. That's how.
Well, they reward you for playing the game, unlike the.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, now you're
gonna go down an EA fucking just shitstorm.
Well, and from what I've seen, all the created characters you can create, unless you go through career mode, I'm not sure you can edit their movesets. Like, you can pick types of movesets, but you can't pick specific movesets, which then makes say you wanted to make a Diaz clone, you basically can't do that at all. Because you can't do a looping cross, so it basically ruins the entire way that works. So, I don't know. I'm very conflicted on that shit, but I'm still playing it, so what the fuck do I know? Alright, well, now that I've blabbered about some more things that are not actually about MMA podcasts, Chris, we should actually get into format, so why don't you start us off with the MMA podcast you recommend people catch this week?
So, the first one I will briefly discuss is Co-Main Event Podcast. That was a catch for me.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was, here, I got a number for you. It was, oh god, I've got a lot of notes. It was episode 460. It's wildfire season, not month.
Discuss Frankie Edgar looked like the old Frankie Edgar. He said, it's a great fight that can go either way. They talked about Shayna Dobson's upset win. It's considered by, I think, the bookies or odds makers the biggest upset ever. Shayna Dobson, thank you. When you consider those odds.
Spelled that way, but yeah.
How will the matchmakers anticipate fights falling apart? Do you plan way ahead? What kind of contingency plan do you have? All good questions, especially considering, COVID.
I think the only way they can really book is you try and put multiple people within the same weight class ranges on the same cards.
Yeah, so call them handcuffs, like fantasy style, where you have someone attached to them.
Yeah, essentially, or
replacement.
Yeah, and then their other contingency is every single week right now they have people coming to Vegas to fight on their Carney sideshow project, where some of those matchups are getting real farcical. Yeah, it's so weird how they match make Contender Series. But on a similar note, people also don't give enough credit to checks of leg kicks, which both should probably get more inclusion in the scoring criteria,
Yeah, 100%. And then co-main event, as long as another podcast, I think that'll be bringing up soon. They're like, well, who does Frank Edgar fight next? And they're like, 100% it's Dominic Cruz. You might as well just do it.
I literally just saw on Twitter right now. I don't know if that got announced or if it's just getting pitched. But as we started this episode and I figured out they were doing it, I just saw very serious talks about that. If not a fight announcement. So
it makes the most sense right now because
if you look at Ben Folks' Twitter, actually, I believe he was the one that just tweeted something about it.
Okay, let's see. But yeah, that's what I had for them. Another solid episode. And then they said Ryan Bader tempted the MMA gods and was answered swiftly by, was it Nemkov?
Yeah, Vadim Nemkov. Yeah. That was a beatdown. We talked about that last week because we started out.
It's Ben replying to a tweet from Bloody Elbow saying Frankie Edgar has his sights set on legacy fight against Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
And he just said, let's make that happen.
Yeah. Hashtag would watch, as they would say, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a winnable fight for both guys.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of fight that doesn't make you feel bad to watch it. For both those dudes at both their point in their career. Also, they could probably both use a fight like that right now. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that is something... That's the kind of feel-good fight that I would be all on board for.
Yeah, because there's no animosity, and it's just like...
Yeah, and you know, everybody's going to be super respectful going in. They're both going to be very nice. It's going to be, like, just a nice, fun time with good people.
Well, because there's still that one old press photo, when it showed the current champions. It was like... I think it was Cain Velasquez, It was Cain Velasquez and John Jones, Anderson, GSP, Frankie, Aldo, and Cruz. Like, all on the stage.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, that was a really good episode. Come in, and actually, all three of the episodes they put out this week, oh god, what do they call the main show?
No.
They reference it as some. Oh, I'm really, really mad at myself for not remembering this off the top of my head. But then again, I've never written it down. I keep wanting to call it like the main cast, but I know that's wrong. It's not the mothership either. It's something like that. Anyway, but there are other episodes that they did this week. The live chat on Wednesday and the Power Hour on Friday are both really good as well. Oh, and do you know about what they're doing on Patreon for rewatch right now?
They just mentioned it and I forgot.
It's Watchmen.
Ooh, okay.
They're on episode 2.
The HBO show or the movie?
The HBO show.
Okay, nice. I saw that. Yeah, that was fucking great.
You should think about signing up for that Patreon, dude.
I should, yeah.
It's $10 for the month, and they are rewatching the entire first season. And I think you would really, really dig what they're doing on there. Plus, you get all the extra shows they do throughout the week. So I recommend it, dude, for sure.
Okay, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, that's something I should definitely consider for sure. These guys seem like they're big movie and TV guys.
Yeah, dude, yeah, because you haven't listened to any of their like movie casts or any of that stuff.
No, because I know they did Deadwood, which I'd watched most of.
Well, and so if you sign up for the Patreon for Watchmen, you would also be able to listen to all the old Kingdom and or Deadwood ones also.
Yeah, I just might have to do that.
Yeah, for $10 you can make that happen. It sounds like a good month of content right there, actually. Yeah, that is. I recommend it, dude. You know what? If you don't do it, let me know, and I'll just fucking sign you up for it.
No, don't do that. Fuck that. I'll do it. I'll at least do it for a month.
Well, we'll take it out of the show budget, and by the show budget, I mean we'll take it out of the drinking money I put into the show.
That's fair.
So, also, we did upgrade our audio recently for the podcast version. So if you guys are hearing that it's a little less fuzzy, or at least you're noticing you can hear bass in the intro song now, that would be why. We finally decided to be adults and bump up the audio quality to 128, since I think we were doing 64 maybe at some point, just because we were compressing the shit out of everything, because I don't know, we don't make money on this show. Actually, as you guys saw us tweet out this week, someone was like, hey, you want to get in touch about a sponsor deal, about a betting website? I'm like, no, I sure don't, guy, but we will definitely check out your website and give you a shout out. Which, by the way, I've not had a chance to look at it, but that betting site that tweeted us, Chris, does have a page about MMA podcasts, which is pretty cool. And so I'm going to send that to you, and then next week we'll talk about that. Again, 0% sponsorship, because it feels weird, and like the nature of our show, it feels like getting involved in any part of the betting or MMA podcast side of sponsorship feels like a direct conflict of interest. But like, if Podcast Addict wants to sponsor us or something, we'll listen. Also, I can't get on board with we can't get in bed with a gambling site that has presidential odds on their Twitter all the time.
Oh boy.
To be fair, yeah, exactly. I was like, listen, guys, love you, but can't do it, bro. All right. So now that I have blabbered about things I probably should have said off air, but you guys know that's how the show works. Let's see. So I have a catch for this week, Chris, and I bet you would not think this was going to be a catch for me. Did you listen to? Go ahead.
I was gonna have an idea who it is.
Ooh, I'm curious. Wait.
I only listened to part of this one. They had 2 episodes. I think you texted me.
Oh shit! I did then. If they had 2 episodes, is it a bald guy who was recently running for president and lost to Ari Shaffir?
No.
Does he have a middle initial?
Oh, you mean that bald guy? See, I was. Oh, yeah. Who's got his best Hunter S. Thompson impression with the glasses?
Well,
and the
to be fair,
rattlesnake?
didn't he lose those glasses? I believe. Yes, of course. Believe you me, episode 250 with the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, Luis J. Gomez, and Harrington.
Yeah, this is the one that I listened to some of. The beginning is hilarious.
Harrington in Lewis's kid's bedroom. Since he's helping him move, and Bisping just lighting people on fire, and Darren Till drops in all abruptly. It's just a fucking great episode.
That was one of the funniest starts to podcasts I've ever heard, because it's like you figure, okay, they talk for about 20-30 minutes, and all right, let's call them. All of a sudden, fucking answer the phone.
Darren's calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite Darren Till interviews of all time. It's also probably one of the most genuine Darren Till interviews I've ever heard. Like, it seems like if you were to just call Darren at home, this is the kind of conversation you would get, which was, like, kind of fucking great. Also, Darren Till was pissed, but he is, like, just the most sociable motherfucker that, like, every part of this was just kind of a lot of fun.
Did Darren talk about how he's on Mike Perry's kill list?
I don't think he did, no. But he did talk a lot about how he's just pissed in general, because in social media it's just making him mad. And he talks about how he's been taking some time off since the Whitaker fight, and just literally not been going to the gym, just hanging out, and kind of recalibrating and everything. And also just healing, obviously, since he's still recovering from his knee injury. And I believe surgery, right?
Yeah, I believe he tore his MCL when he got, like, I know they call it oblique kicked, he does something oblique. When he got kicked in the knee is what it is by Whitaker.
Jack Slack refers to it as, I believe, the side low line kick, maybe, or something like that. Low line side kick, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm probably butchering that, but yeah, no, it was interesting. Also, Darren Till not wearing his cast like he should be, which is some classic MMA fighter shit. Where he's like, they say a normal person takes 4 weeks to heal, but we're not normal. So, which I believe is the episode title. So it takes 6 weeks, but we're not normal. So it's 4 weeks, and I have it off.
It's like, is he being helped by Dr. Tony Ferguson?
Well, not only that, but like also, I don't know how abnormal your tendons are, my guy. Like, I don't know if that's how that works, but.
He's like, I don't fucking care. My tendons are different.
Yeah, they're fucking different. See, that's my fucking vodka Red Bull.
Jesus. Oh, God.
Hey, to be fair, I had 2 vodka Red Bulls for the show, so don't hate on it.
I hope
Actually, this show is
it,
semi-powered by vodka Red Bulls. There's a lot of weeks I have vodka Red Bulls for the show, just to kind of get through it. Because otherwise, I slow down halfway through. Let's see. Yeah, no, overall, just a really good episode. I'm trying to. One thing that I thought was really cool is he talks a lot about how he intentionally made that fight with Whitaker so stressful, and Whitaker talked about afterwards how stressful it was, and most of that was just through his constant like forcing feints all the time. Yeah. And they were both. I mean, that's something Whitaker does pretty well as well. I wish I wouldn't have said that in that order of words, but you know what I mean. So I just thought it was really interesting, kind of hear Darren kind of walk through that process and like actively saying, I intentionally tried to make that fight as stressful as possible, and it was one of the most stressful fights ever, just because of the constant feinting. And he also acknowledged like it started to get really tough when he couldn't angle off after he would throw, because that's one of the things he's best at. So, man, yeah, overall, just such a good episode. He talks about their upcoming Hermanson fight, which I'm a little worried about. I think that's a bad style matchup, and coming off a knee injury against a dude like Hermanson seems like a tough out. But, you know, what are you going to do? And then he also talks a little bit, this is where you guys have probably seen some of the quotes around about Darren Till saying O'Malley took the loss poorly. The way those quotes are pulled out of this episode, I mean, yes, word for word, that is what he said, but like the intention behind it did not sound like that.
It was a little misconstrued.
Yeah, and it honestly, when you hear it in real time, it feels a lot more like him just being like, I think it'd be a lot better for Sean to just like kind of assess where he's at and like
it's
take
just
it
like
in
keep your
stride
head
and
up.
like it's very easy to be a cocky young dude, but being a cocky young dude doesn't necessarily help you grow, which is like it was very measured and reasonable. So I thought that
because he reflected on his own self when he was 25. Essentially, like I was cocky and young, and I lost my first major fight, and it helped me reflect and kind of refocus my aim at how am I going to be successful. And I think that's what his intent was when he was when they asked him about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was it was. He even said like I think O'Malley's gonna be really good. I think it would just benefit him if he kind of generally after a fight's the time where you sit and reflect, not the time where you open your mouth. Kind of thing.
Like I'd mentioned to you, we talked about O'Malley. And,
O'Malley's been saying more bad, like some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Which, like, to be fair, if you put a mic in front of my face when I was that age, I would absolutely be saying dumber shit. I probably still would, depending on what combination of drinks and or booze and or weed I've had that day. But as Eugene S. Robinson would say, sounding a little misty over there. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to think of my outlook on what his career trajectory is. I
think once
I'm still
he
in the mindset
gets with the big camp, or once he gets with a series of coaches around him.
Thank you.
Like I think he needs multiple coaches. And I know he has them, but I would like to see. Wasn't he with the lab at some point, or am I making
at some
that
point,
up?
Yeah, he was doing some stuff with them.
But then at some point him and Tim broke off, right?
He's still with Tim Welch.
No, I mean him and Tim broke off from the lab.
Oh yes, excuse me. Yes,
because they used to both train at the lab, if I remember right, and then at some point that like stopped being a thing as much, which I think has really kind of been a detriment. And that could be for a lot of reasons. Who knows? But I'd just like to see Sean like be in a place where he's working with multiple different coaches, like not even like necessarily an ATT or an AKA, but like something. Like
I was hoping he'd go to Eric Albarracin, right?
Albarracin, that would be interesting. It's so not his style though, because he's not a wrestler. Like he would get wrestle fucked so bad.
Yeah, that's true. But I just think I just like what that guy has done.
Yeah.
As goofy as his whole shtick is, the guy's a great coach.
Yeah, or even like the Body Shop would be another interesting one, like something like that. Although they've been going through some weird stuff. That's where you know Adrian, who trains out of the Body Shop nowadays with AJ McKee and his dad. Adrian, of course, you know Adrian, right? The dude who went to
your friend who's like a flyweight, right?
Yeah. He's been training out there, and that's actually I've been seeing Mayhem in a lot of those videos, which is why it was so bummer to see that Mayhem got locked up, because Mayhem's been training with the Body Shop guys really regularly, like in the gym almost every day with them, from what I've been seeing. So it's a bummer to see that he's going through some shit.
Oh damn.
Yeah, because it looked like he was doing good there for a bit. But anyway, so some other stuff in this Believe You Me episode. There's some really good stories about going out drinking, Bisman going out drinking with Jason Perillo that are definitely worth listening to. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, so I'm not going to mention them here. But if you guys want to hear some, I was going to say potentially fake stories about how they definitely did not get into fights, but then Bisping literally clarifies, "Oh no, that definitely happened." So I don't know. It's a good story about them out drinking. Jason Perillo fucking somebody up for being a racist. So.
Oh, I saw a video someone tweeted out of Jason Perillo hitting pads. I'm like, wow,
dude. Jason Perillo is a real mother. Bisping talks about it. He's like, Jason Perillo smokes guys. Like, people don't realize how hard that dude hit, and the only reason he had to stop fighting is because he had a retina attachment. But that was back before they had all like the surgery options and stuff nowadays. So yeah, it was interesting. And then after that, he had the interview with Alexander Rakic, which man, hard not. This was actually the interview that sold me on Rakic in the fight against Smith. Man, Rakic is a hard motherfucker. He talks about doing his camp at ATT Zagreb in Croatia. He talks about working his wrestling the entire camp with an all-American wrestling coach.
I mean, I could tell.
Yep. The second I heard that, I was like, "Oh, dude is fucked."
I was like, I was watching it at work. I was like, yeah, Smith is done.
No, it was, dude. By the end of I think I even tweeted out at a certain point. I was like, I'm gonna go watch. What was it? Class Action Park, because it's gonna be less horrific than this.
I was explaining to Jack, who's a massive boxing fan, and he boxes himself.
By the way, I love Jack. He's swung by in the
great,
chat.
But he was legitimately asking me, like,
big boxing fan. Yeah.
He was like, hey, can you just explain to me, like, why should he shoot for a single there? What's the advantage there? And I was explaining to him the advantage of, like, grappling situations and, like, leverage and pressure against the cage, or keeping them,
just mixing, like, blending stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I was telling him there was one instance where, and I know we could be talking about this later, I just have to mention it now. I think Smith has one underhook under and has Rakic against the fence. I don't know how Rakic does this besides just pure strength and explosion, but he literally, like, shoves him off and, like, throws him on the ground. Like, how the fuck do you even do that? Like,
yeah, I mean, he definitely...
I remember I saw that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, he just said, get off me, like, and he just shoved him off. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
It was, like, a little bit of some Derek Lewis shit, right?
Yeah, like, I was like, dude, this dude is strong as fuck.
He had a big strength and youth advantage on Anthony Smith that was palpable.
Oh, my God. So, we'll talk about that later, but I am really excited for that dude. Jesus.
I've been fairly high on Rakic. I mean, we forget. I forgot. I was listening to I don't know if I was listening to a podcast or if I was looking at maybe it was after the fight, but yeah, he's fought like 4 or 5 times in the UFC now, I guess, which is crazy.
God, you know who they're gonna have him match up against though?
Huh?
Yuri Prochazka.
Yep. I've heard a lot of people calling for that as who's next.
Because I heard Johnny Walker is going to move up to heavyweight.
That seems weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be better for him out.
I mean, I don't know what to make of Johnny Walker right now. I kind of never have known what to make of him. He has a little bit of like what Volkan Ozdemir had early in his career, where it's like, dude, I just don't know what to make of you, because you're just like either deading people or you're not showing up, and I don't know where the in between is.
And then getting deaded.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. Right. But anyway, yeah. Overall, I really liked that episode. It was really, really solid. One of the best Believe You Me episodes probably ever. It was really, really good. And Luis J. Gomez has been on a run of good episodes. If you guys have been listening to the Legion of Skanks podcast, which I don't always recommend, they say horrific things on that show that I definitely don't support. They say horrific things. Horrific things. And do horrific things. It's not a show for well-rounded people, probably. But god damn it, has this election season with Ari been funny? We'll get to that later. But all I'm saying is fuck you, Lewis, y'all. Fuck you, Lewis. Anyway, that's a reference. Fucking bunch of white racists will get, I guess. I don't know. Fucking dude, podcasts are weird. Chris, save me from this hole I'm digging myself into. What other MMA podcasts do you recommend people catch this week?
Between the Links, episode 13 was solid.
Dude, that show's really good. It's really, really guest dependent, though, right?
Yeah. The first note I had is, why in the hell would you decide to discuss WWE over Cam Soda madness? That is dumb.
Dude. First off, okay, we're not going to talk about this right now, but did you watch that Cam Soda card?
I did not. I just heard all about it from the Unleashed.
My God. Spoiler alert. Well, I'm so glad you didn't, because we are 100% going to do a commentary for that down the line.
Let's get G6, because he's been asking me. I just saw him the other day. He's like, dude, when are we doing a commentary?
I believe it's on YouTube, but either way, I screen capped the entire thing just to be safe.
Okay.
So
I'll hit him up.
100% doing that. Dude, G6 will love that shit.
We got to figure out.
We can do it remotely if we need to.
What's up?
I said we could always do it remotely if we need to.
Yeah, I think he has a computer.
That's a good point. But I mean, if he's in San Diego, he could always come to your place.
Yeah, and I the only thing I need to buy is like one of the little headphone splitters
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
good to go.
That's easy though. You can get them on Amazon for like $4.
Yeah, I'll probably order one tonight. But yeah, I'll hit them up. Say, hey, do you want to do?
Dude.
Because there's a card this weekend. Right?
Yeah. We should definitely do that for something because that's
Okay.
Oh, but yes. By the way, there's cards every weekend for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they need to.
The
meet
UFC
that,
has to make
the
the
contract
contractual
quota.
obligations
Yeah, it's
to ESPN.
What is it? 34 events.
Yeah, and they're literally one planned every week for the rest of the year.
Kind of don't like that. I mean, I like it, but I don't.
I hate it.
It's like I want like a week off. But
Dude,
Okay.
I would love to
All right.
talk about something other than UFC for a week, but here we are.
Okay,
Anyway,
so I'm
between
gonna
the
talk
links.
about this, and after that, I'm gonna run to the fridge and get another one of these beers. My last one because I don't want to drink a Rolling Rock next.
Sure.
So,
what was the episode number again?
episode 13. So they talk about John Jones, the heavyweight discussion. They talk about John Jones, all these different matchup scenarios, him versus Francis Ngannou. They would love that. How about Derek Lewis? How about Curtis Blades? They're like, any other matchups besides Stipe and Ngannou? One of them mentioned Alexei Olenek, but then they're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
One of them was
Alexei
convinced
Olenek
that
could die.
one of them was convinced, and it wouldn't. I don't think it would surprise me based on Jones' technicality and skill level. Besides the steroids, because I don't care. Steroids don't make you good at fighting. They were convinced. Like I
All right,
absolutely
Luke Thomas.
It wasn't Luke Thomas, but
No, I'm
Fair
making
point.
fun about. Never
Yeah.
mind. You got it.
one of them said John Jones will absolutely be the heavyweight champion by the end of this year. That's what they said, but I don't see how that works time wise.
He already did.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier.
What's up?
He already did. Daniel Cormier.
Oh yeah.
Twice technically. Well, 1.5 times.
Anyways, they said one of them is like, I absolutely believe John Jones just destroys Stipe and Ngannou. Like that they don't. He said neither of them stand a chance. I don't know about stand a chance against Jones because we see Jones clearly doesn't like facing guys that hit hard.
True. Also, actually, DC has beaten multiple heavyweight champions in the UFC because he beat Josh Barnett back in the day. Who was a heavyweight champion.
Yep.
And
Who is the best
somebody
205er
else.
currently? Is it Dominic Reyes or is it Nimkov?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
I don't think it's Nimkov.
I think they think it's Reyes. That's what I think. But that's because they said one guy said, "Oh, he beat Jones in their last fight."
To be fair, Vadim Nemkov is super fucking good. He's the dude who took a win off of Phil Davis. He has a win over, I think, William McGeary. He has some really notable wins. But yeah, Dom Reyes is
One of the guys on there, and I'm sorry I didn't write their names down because I couldn't really remember when I'm saying their names at all. One of them said, "I mark my words."
Here, I got you. It was
Like,
I know it's Mike Heck is the host, and I believe it was.
That's right.
I want to say it was Jed Michoud and here I'll pull it up. Keep it talking.
One of them did say, though, "Mark my words, Anthony Rumble Johnson will be 205 champion now that DC and Jones are gone." I'm like,
Not if anybody can wrestle at 205.
yeah, no. Not if Rakic could wrestle. The majority of the Frankie and Munoz
Yeah, it was
fight,
Jed Michoud and Sean Ross Sapp again, who were on last week, and that is a real good combo. Actually, I'm bummed out I didn't catch that they did a rematch this week.
So yeah, I think every single one of them, except for one guy, thought that Munoz won. Mike Heck scored it for Frankie. They all unanimously agreed.
I'm not saying Mike Heck didn't score for Frankie. I'm also saying Mike Heck is probably the one of the three who needs access to Ali Abdelaziz's clients more than the other two. I'm not saying that it's anything to do with anything. I'm just saying that is probably a factual thing.
Yeah.
So,
They all agree that Frankie versus Cruz should be next. That's pretty much just what's going on. I think that will happen.
I hope so, dude. Actually, that's the only really fight I want to see either of them take.
Then they go into a deep dive of the bantamweight division, including Merab, Dvalishvili, and even Uriah Faber. For some reason, this is before the fights that happened this past weekend, or just yesterday. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
They want Robbie Lawler to fight Anderson Silva. We'll get into that. No, we won't.
I don't know. Yeah, no, let's not get into that.
No, from both sides. And then they said Cam Soda was like if your friends put on an MMA show in their backyard and had decent production.
No.
No.
Bullshit. Cam Soda is like if you took acid and then went to an MMA promotion inside Moulin Rouge, the movie. How about that?
And didn't we'll get into Cam Soda.
If it took place in Thailand.
I'll say this: wasn't there a fight where someone took mushrooms for the fight?
I don't know that that's true, but would that surprise me? 0%. There was so many weird things happening on that card, Chris. It was so weird. I got girlfriend Karen to watch it with me because it was such a fucking freak show.
So was it like?
To be fair, I was also on 100
like
milligrams of edibles. So that made it very interesting. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Sorry to interrupt. I was saying, is it like a Rough and Rowdy but with actual fighters?
Dude, Rough and Rowdy is like a high school gym compared to this level of carnival.
I see.
Okay, let me just put it this way. The walkouts, the fighters are surrounded by hot chicks, and then I'm going to refer to as midgets because it was Thailand. There was a midget in a Superman costume and a midget in a Batman costume who was also walking them out. That was just for the walkouts.
Yeah, we need to do a commentary with
is
G6.
The most insane shit you'll ever see in your life. Also, I'm going to go ahead and warn y'all. G6 is going to say some horrific things in this commentary. I'm just saying.
As expected.
I'm just saying. And, yeah. No, Chris, I'm not kidding when I say it's maybe the most fun I've had with an MMA card all year.
So
it's so fucked up, dude.
When should we plan for this? Because I could text him now.
Well, I mean, the best time to do it would be Halloween, but that's so far from now.
Fuck that. I ain't waiting for that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a weekend, or we'll figure out... We'll look into it, but... Yeah, good God, man. I'm actually kind of glad you didn't see it, because I can't wait to get real take live. Don't look at anything from it until we record it, because it's fucking beautiful. Let's see. All right. We should keep on moving on, but... Yeah, that episode of Between the Links sounds fantastic, and, The episode last week between Jed Meshew and Sean Ross Sapp was really good as well. So I wonder if we're going to start seeing more and more of them, which I would not be mad at. I think they're both really good in that role. And they're funny as shit, right?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Like
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, they're like super witty. It actually reminds me a lot of the old school days of, not Between the Links, but what did they used to call it? Around the Cage?
Between Rounds?
No. They've had like 3 names for that show because that used to be on
Between the Rounds Takedown?
No. Between Rounds is TJ. They used to have I think it was
Back to the Round Table. The Round Table.
Maybe yeah. Around the cage. It was Around the Cage at one point.
Around the Cage.
And then there was another name at one point. Anyway, it's really good show.
Here, I'm gonna go snag another beer real quick, and then
yeah, you go do that. While I talk about Heavy Hands, episode 331.
Oh yeah, I have. That's like literally that was my next catch. So
okay,
I'll catch up with you in a second.
Yeah. Chris will catch up with us. I'm just gonna go ahead and say the phrase that Phil McKenzie drops, which is that I believe it's Phil McKenzie. It might have been Connor. But the Edgar Allan Poe-esque irony of Anthony Smith beating up a bunch of old light heavyweights and then losing his teeth is one of the lines that will stick in my head forever. And God, it's just so much what that show is. If you ever wanted to see one line describe a podcast, I'm pretty positive it was Phil saying the Edgar Allan Poe-esque irony of Anthony Smith beating up a bunch of old light heavyweights and then losing his teeth is like so on the nose for what that is, and I'm fucking here for it every goddamn time. This is also the show where I believe Connor Rebush mentioned this on the MMA Vivisection, but I think Phil in this episode made the comparison that Rakic is a lot like Santos with a little bit less output, which I thought was like really interesting. It's a really interesting comparison, and it kind of plays out when you watch that Anthony Smith fight. Comparisons between Rakic and Thiago Santos are definitely
he's a less scrawny and pale Thiago Santos.
I mean, kind of like, or you mean yeah, exactly like. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Thiago Santos is pretty jacked too.
Yeah.
But I guess Rakic,
No,
I don't know. Rakic is
100%.
taller.
Yeah, no, but Rakic is a different build, and he's a way less, way less output than, or wild output, I should say, than, a Thiago Santos, but definitely has some parts of his game that line up pretty clearly. And also, I mentioned right before you got back, Chris, the Phil McKenzie mentioning the Edgar Allan Poe-esque irony of Anthony Smith beating up a bunch of old light heavyweights and then losing his teeth is one of the lines that will stick with me forever about whenever I think about heavy hands. That is absolutely something I think about because that kind of describes the show in a real way, right?
Yeah.
Not many people would put that kind of combination of references and words together. And I'm fucking, like I said, I'm here for it. They also talk a lot about Lawler versus Magny, which, man, that played out like we all were kind of afraid it was gonna.
How the fuck do you get outstruck 114
to 20 or whatever?
No, what I'm saying, he had 114 disadvantage.
Oh,
as
yeah,
far
it was
as,
like 130
the differential.
to 20 or
It was
whatever.
121 to 17. How
That's
do you?
what it was. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Or 14.
I mean, if you've watched any of his recent fights, he doesn't throw anymore. Him and Tyron are both falling.
Yeah, that
same.
Colby Covington fight is pretty tough.
Dude, I might literally not watch that fight because I don't want to feel bad, and that's coming from someone who's literally drinking a beer that has Covington right on the name of it.
Wait,
Again,
did you never actually see that
conflicted.
Covington Miller fight?
No, I mean I don't want to watch Covington Woodley
Oh, yeah, I'm not. Nope.
because it's gonna make me feel real bad.
Spoiler alert, not going to be good.
Well, not only not gonna be good, it's gonna make me feel actively bad.
I'm just going to be at the moment oh, what else did I expect?
Yeah, I mean, fair. Other than that, they talk a lot about how close Edgar versus Munoz was, and just a really good episode overall. But yeah, that Edgar Allan Poe reference is always going to stick with me. And then I think they even later on in that episode they make fun of it being less Edgar Allan Poe and more kind of a cheaper Twilight Zone-y kind of knockoff kind of thing. But there's something about that show sometimes that has a real unique quality to it that I can't quite put my finger on. So, Heavy Hands episode 331 was really solid. Let's see, Chris, did you have any other catches for this week?
No. No. Actually, no. Nope. That was it. It was Heavy Hands.
All right, perfect. Well, my other catch for this week is the MMA Vivisection for UFC on ESPN Plus 8. Just fucking great. Honestly, just a really funny episode with Connor and Zane. That show, I feel like I don't give enough credit to because a lot of times breakdown shows in general are kind of hard to pick out because there's so many of them and a lot of them it's just how interesting do you find the takes and whether or not that makes it catch-worthy or not, that's it's hard to kind of, qualify that sometimes, but, man, this is just a really good example of why that show is super good. It's just a really interesting breakdown. They talk enough shit about how the prelims and the main card are completely kind of diabolically opposed, and then ironically enough the prelims ended up being wild as shit and the main card was boring as shit, which was kind of the entire thing that Connor was saying is that the prelims are kind of trash. So I don't know, there's just a lot of interesting qualities to it and I liked it quite a bit. So yeah, it's a fun one. If you guys want a good breakdown show, I always kind of find it interesting going back and listening to breakdown shows after the fights happen too. Because very rarely do I do it, but the times that I do, I always find it kind of insightful. So man, they totally nailed that one part, but they totally missed this other part. And so I find it interesting. So it might be worth going back and listening to MMA Vivisection for UFC on ESPN Plus 8. Because, if nothing else, it's just a good time. Let's see. Chris, did you have any skips for this week?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh, shit. Everybody look out. Shots. Oh, well, then I guess I should give our Eugene S. Robinson style disclaimer. Just because we say skip your show this week does not mean we hate you or that we hate your show. Although we might, but generally it means that it was not worth the time it took to listen to it, or you said some heinous, ridiculous shit that was not great. So, Chris, which one of the above was it this week?
It was strictly MMA.
Strictly MMA. I've never even heard of that show. Oh wait, you've listened to it once before, right?
Yeah, they're pretty solid. The reason why I wasn't really on board this week. They first talked about what's Stipe's game plan for Francis this time around. I believe they said they would rather Stipe retire because they don't want to see him get knocked out. Like, that's how confident they are. It's like they didn't watch the first fight.
Well, it sounds exactly like everyone right before the first fight.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Or anyone who was talking about
you wouldn't be
Volkov.
surprised by this, but the amount of people, specifically casuals, that have no fucking clue that Stipe actually beat Francis already. They have no idea. They have no idea that fight even happened.
Well, to be fair, they don't, like, first off, white heavyweights are notoriously, now here's a controversial take in the year 2020. White heavyweights don't get enough respect, Chris. Outside of the one that does, and he is honestly the one that should. I literally made him in UFC 4 today. Shouts out to the last emperor. But, generally white heavyweights, and especially pasty white heavyweights, notoriously slept on. Shouts out to Tim Sylvia. But, yeah, I mean, to be fair, everybody loves Francis, but nobody likes to talk about how...
I mean, we all know your favorite white heavyweight.
Who's my favorite white heavyweight?
Bork Laser.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my favorite. The one with the dick tattoo on his chest. Who does a fake sport and is just like an angry fucking white dude. And
AKA
Canada,
the guy, if he actually just went straight into MMA and trained MMA right out of college, he would have been a lot better instead of just fucking around WWE. But that's my opinion.
Literally my least favorite wrestler who's ever fought, probably. I notoriously pull heavy for wrestlers, and I don't think I've ever wanted. Maybe it's just because I like Frank Mir, or well,
I do too. But
I like Frank Mir, so I heard him talk about
I am mad that why would you waste your opportunity that early? I get it. He's making. I don't know if he's making money.
Waste your opportunity. That motherfucker has made $1 billion off of just
he's smart
and not talking and like showing up once a year for things. So anyway,
he knows what he's doing. Never mind.
Yeah, we're so off topic, but
they were kind of downplaying Stipe.
The thing before we get back to that, Francis. Everybody go. There's a clip right now on Twitter that I've been seeing all over the place of Francis and Ngannou, or Francis and Rosenstruik. And,
it's like that Reddit bit where it's like, which fight are we getting this time, Francis or Ngannou?
Yeah. Well, no. You've seen that? Have you seen that clip on Twitter of Rosenstruik and Ngannou finish in slow mo, where it's just like the dumbest shit.
Isn't he like punching him off his back foot? He's like not even.
No, it's not even that. Well, no, the reason why Rosenstruik got finished is because he threw a naked kick while backing up against the cage. But like, Ngannou is throwing just fucking dumb shit. But he's just throwing it really fast and really close to landing. And then the one time dude goes to throw a kick, it was while he was still mid-combo, because Ngannou throws 14-punch combos, which is why he's going to get taken down and beat up by Stipe again if they fight. Or maybe not, or maybe he just kills him. And I just hate shit like that, where you're like, man, you're winning. You know what? I have that classic Conor Rebush problem where I hate athleticism.
Can I tell you?
You're just cheating. You're just cheating to be that athletic.
The exact way you're describing this is why a lot of pure boxing fans that
hate
love
Deontay Wilder.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 100%. It's also
this dude is not a good boxer, and what happens when he fights a good boxer? He gets his ass kicked.
It's also kind of why I'm not the biggest Deontay Wilder fan, other than like until you listen to him talking, you're like, oh, this dude's awesome.
No, that's what I mean. He's a cool guy.
Well, and I feel kind of the same way about Francis, where like Francis on mic is always very nice and like very
the dude's a sweetheart.
Yeah, 100%. But like, also, I can't fucking stand watching him fight because of what he does.
It's like, dude, you could be so much better.
Dude, just fucking windmills at people. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't know. That fight's gonna go weird. Yeah, but strictly MMA. Other than that, you said it was pretty good.
It wasn't bad. It's just the reason why it's a skip wasn't just because of the Stipe thing. It's mostly because they were on Sean O'Malley's nuts a little too hard.
Oh boy, that's a bad look this week.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, he's gonna be top 5 very soon. Shit like that.
Whoa, really?
I said, let's pump the brakes. You know, I like putting my own little notes. I think they said they think O'Malley should
top 5 very soon.
They just said soon.
That's still.
And they said Marlon Vera should fight
division.
Cruz. I mean, that's not a. I don't think Cruz takes that fight. It's
no,
first.
No. Why? No.
Then they said TJ Dillashaw will be champion very shortly after he's back. I mean, based on his talent, I could see him. You know, we'll see how he looks when he's off the EPO.
Well, that's the thing with TJ Dillashaw. Is like,
is he off?
Well, and also, how does he deal with people talking shit to him when he comes back? Because
he can't. I think he'll own up to it. Honestly,
I don't think he will. I think he will absolutely melt down. Like the problem I see him having is,
especially if Cody Garbrandt beats. I'll say this right now: if Cody Garbrandt beats Davison Figueiredo and becomes a flyweight champion, that is so much ammunition for Garbrandt. He'll be like, "Oh, I went down to flyweight and won, and you couldn't." Which
well, it's gonna be hilarious when he goes down to flyweight and they both miss weight.
No. Yeah. But
so
yeah, I mean,
no one makes 125. And actually,
true,
wait. Right? So if Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt both miss weight for the flyweight fight, was it vacated?
It means it just never happened.
Right. It means it's just an exhibition bout. No, wait. Actually, that's exactly what happened. No, you're right. No, you know what? Because the Luter fight, Anderson made weight for that. Oh, no, you know what? That was a weight class up. I'm trying to think if there was ever been an example where both the champion and the challenger missed weight.
I actually don't think that's ever happened.
Dude, we might see a fucking record set.
Either way, I think you're right. I think TJ
shit.
melts us down just at least a little bit. I think it is inevitable. I think they briefly mentioned Cejudo. I think Cejudo, the reason why he keeps being a Twitter warrior right now is because he just wants to fight Volkanovski. And Volkanovski has every right to say, like, go fuck yourself. Which
and also, everyone in the world should say, go fuck yourself to that shit. Like, who cares?
It's funny because I think on this podcast, I think Cejudo beats Volk, so that's why you should do that. It's like, that's not the point. It's just it shouldn't happen.
Well, like, it could happen. But, like, Cejudo is not actively fighting, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I don't have any interest or, like, it means nothing. You know what the problem is? It does nothing for the John Nash scale, as described on Carrot on Carrot podcast. It does nothing. It's not relevant to the division. It doesn't do anything for anyone involved other than make everyone money. It doesn't mean anything. So why the fuck should I be invested in it other than y'all are gonna make money? Like, that doesn't do anything for me.
You know what fight?
The matchup is mildly interesting. Let's be honest.
If I'm 145 matchmaker, you give the winner of Zombie and Ortega to Volkanovski, okay? And
I like that.
And then you do.
Then again, it's just because I want to see Zombie fight for a belt.
Then you do Calvin Cater, dude, versus Max Holloway, because I want to see some good boxing.
That'd be an interesting fight. I think Max Holloway takes that, but that's an interesting fight. Cater's big.
That dude, his boxing is good for MMA. MMA boxing is good. Well, I'm not trying to trigger any boxing people, but
when I was thinking, like, that's probably the biggest dude Holloway's fought outside of Poirier, right?
Yeah, easily. Cater's a huge dude.
Oh, and maybe Conor wasn't even that big back then compared to like Cater.
In hindsight, Conor was pretty big.
That was when he was on the smaller side of 45, though. I mean, he still looked like shit, but he didn't look like death like he used to later. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting, actually.
That's what I would do, and then I know some folk who would be like, okay, well, what about... well, yeah, no, because it's got to be... Some people say, what about Yair and Zabit? Well, they should just fight like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Cejudo should go fuck himself. Don't ruin 145.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, bro, you're already a legend, essentially, so just stay retired.
So I've been.
Go to one like a smart person, fight Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I'm not especially now.
That'd be fun as hell. And also, like, cool. Dude, that rematch would make motherfucking money.
Dude, that fight would be fucking great.
But yeah, it'd be interesting for sure. All right, so I've been going back and forth on whether or not I'm actually gonna give a skip. I feel bad for giving skips right now because really any content during how crazy this shit is right now for everybody, it's hard to like shit on people. And I'm not trying to. However, god damn it, man. I like the idea of this show and I like the people involved, but fuck is it hard to listen to. Especially as time goes on, it gets harder and harder. MMA Junkie Radio, episode 3082.
Oh boy.
Dude, I can't not put it as a skip when you're literally saying I'm paraphrasing, so I don't want to misquote Gorgeous George, but when you're saying you're sad the NBA season isn't resuming and you're starting to question what canceling the season will do for inequality, that's probably a skip for me, bro.
Yeah, I'll say this. I've watched a brief few NBA playoff games. My quick opinion on it is what I thought what the players did, at least for a day and a half, 2 days, a couple games, was great. I think it's a good message to send. And you leave it at that because they still got to play. They still got to win a championship. They still got to play out their contract. Could some people argue it's more impactful, meaningful if they don't play longer? Sure. But I think the fact that they basically got most of the sports, 4 major sports, to postpone. Not the NHL. Yeah. The NHL didn't give a fuck. They just had like a message on the.
Also the NHL, to be fair, a lot of Canadians where they're not having nearly as much of a problem.
Yeah. Fair. So, that's my quick opinion. I thought it was great what the NBA did, what MLB did. I thought it was important. I think that's only happened a brief amount of times in sports history. I know it's happened multiple times for sure. I thought it was a good move.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Also, shouts out to Phil swinging by in chat, mentioning. Oh, he did mention. See, I was hesitant to actually drop that he has an interview coming out with Doumbé, the Glory, goddamn absolute monster. Who, man, if you guys don't know Cedric Doumbé, you are sleeping on Glory clearly. But yeah, I have a feeling that interview Phil has with Doumbé on the fight site coming this week is going to be real fucking good, so keep an eye out for that. I've been seeing him tease it. Although, Phil, I will say, since he's in chat, I will say, Phil, I saw you say that you had the GOAT on. Excuse me, sir. Oh, no, sorry, you didn't say the GOAT. You said you had the best on. And I was going to ask if you had the best ever, which clearly you did not, because I was going to say a young man, but there's a man who happens to be fighting in bare knuckle boxing, who is the best ever. But goddamn, Cedric Doumbé's a bad motherfucker. So yeah, that's gonna be dope coming up. Yeah, man, that MMA Junkie episode is fucking. I don't know. You can't. Like, I'm trying to be patient with people about saying ignorant shit because they want sports, but like, a lot of people are saying ignorant shit because they want sports, and it's starting to get to be a problem, and it's just going to get worse as we get closer to football season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway, on that note, we'll get past the skips for this week, but goddamn. Bum me out. I'm not gonna lie with the that thing. Also, I'm glad Phil is dying in chat with the dude. Who doesn't love them some Phil Baroni? I mean, he says horrible shit all the time and is probably not the best person in real life. But god damn it, Phil Baroni, the best ever.
It's just comedic timing. It's just not even meant to be comedic. That's why it's great.
Also, I believe Phil Baroni tweeted out this week. Who would have thought it was who would have thought it was Mayhem Miller, not me, that got in trouble this time?
Oh boy,
that was pretty good. So I'm paraphrasing, but very, very solid. Anyway, on that note, Chris, do you have an MMA podcast you recommend people can't miss this week?
Yes, I do. Can't miss is Unleashed, episode 50.
Hey, me too, dude. How good is this shit? You guys heard the clip on the intro, but this is just a goddamn panel of killers. So of course this is a show hosted by Ant Walker that generally he does with Jay Petrie and Ben Duffy, and I believe another Sherdog contributor, but I don't remember off the top of my head. That's on off and on, but you know what? It's the dude. Who's the guy who does the show with Kendra Lust? For some reason.
I know. I heard that guy say that.
I have no idea why they fucking did. I don't know why that's happening or what's happening with that. Like, I don't listen to shows with porn stars generally because I've listened to a lot of them.
Any normal dude, it's like you do. Like, sure, you ask him about the porn issue, but also in the back of your head is like, do you want to smash? Like, what else? Like, you're talking.
No, it's like I've literally listened to enough of Red Band shows that I don't need to listen to porn stars talk anymore. Like, I've heard a lot of them, and I get it, bro. I get it. Like, I've listened to a lot of the Naughty Show throughout the years. Like, I've heard Sam Tripoli ask porn stars about their assholes. I'm good, bro.
That's very fair. And I remember too, even when I
of course,
used to listen
Howard
to Jason
Stern
Ellis show, Sam Tripoli was on there all the time talking about his
That dude loves doing coke off buttholes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, his adventures.
Yeah, I guess that's the nice way to put it. Now he has 2 twins and he's a conspiracy theorist. So welcome to 2020 America. Anyway, Unleashed episode 50, not about porn stars, and a great episode. So yeah, Ant Walker, Jay Petrie, and Ben Duffy are on as usual. And then they had a panel of guests, including Patrick Auger, from the Body Lock. They had Matt Hunter from Mixed Combat Radio. They had Jason Hartley, who is... I actually am not that familiar with Jason Hartley, other than I believe he does like some, I don't know, YouTube or Instagram or social media kind of thing. I'm not really positive. Or Twitch, maybe. Maybe it was Twitch, something like that. Matt Wells, of course, from formerly at least, of... because I don't think that show's still happening. Of... God, what was the show he had with Kendrick?
Oh, Half the Battle? No,
that's Shaq.
No, it's Zach and that's
Shaq and Dan Levi.
Shaq and Dan.
No, it was the one in Texas. It was Matt Wells and Kendrick.
God damn it! Polo Punch it?
No, that was Kajan Johnson. You're really close though. I keep wanting to say Half the Battle too. And I keep wanting to say WoCast, but I know those are both wrong. Oh, God. This is going to drive me fucking crazy. We've talked about this show, Slip and Dip. Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Slip and Dip podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say boxing. I was like, oh, wait,
yeah.
Slip and Dip.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about boxing.
Yeah, and then Kristen King also joins at one point. But, man, it's just, how fun is this fucking episode? So, have you heard Unleashed before, and have you heard most of these guests in the past?
I recognize a couple of them, but I haven't listened to Unleashed. It's like a panel thing.
So Unleashed normally isn't a panel. Normally it's Ant Walker, Jay Petrie, and Ben Duffy, I believe. And then they'll have like a guest or someone. But this was like, since it was their 50th episode, they did a big blowout episode where they just had a bunch of people on a Zoom call, essentially. And all in all, audio not that bad for that many people on a call. Everybody's really good about sitting out and letting jokes finish and like letting people throw comments in. And yeah, overall, man, I had a great time listening to this.
I did as well. I mean, off the bat, they discussed the fight from last week, not yesterday.
The Frankie
this
Edgar
was reported
win.
before the fight yesterday. Frankie versus... Well, right off the bat, they go, Frankie should fight Dominic Cruz.
Everybody seems to want that, right?
I agree, too. I mean, I said I was a massive Dominic Cruz fan. You know, he's been kind of salty, and he was salty again, I think, 2 weeks ago. Oh, wait,
Dom Cruz salty?
Yeah, no. No, what is that?
So
right?
I like him.
Yeah.
Next thing you're going to say is he's still talking about a referee that finished his fight too early on every single card he ever commentates.
Yeah, they just said there's no way you can have Frankie Edgar jump ahead for a title shot. I mean, it's the UFC, so who knows?
Yeah.
They said what they want is Dillashaw versus Edgar if you don't do Edgar versus Cruz. That's not...
I don't want that.
I don't want that.
It's going to be like a feel-bad thing.
Frankie Edgar up really bad. They talk about if big if true. If Cody wins the 125 belt, it will fuck up 135 plans because of alleged super fights now. Yeah, it's
100%, especially since he is a client of who?
Don't say his name.
Yeah, the fucking Voldemort of MMA, other than Kadyrov.
Yeah, I wrote down discussion about Cejudo and Volkanovski is either satire or entirely wrong and ignorant. I'm going to go with satire. Let's see, they said, and this is the segment I enjoyed the most. Let's matchmake the Bellator champions with UFC champions. I think they said the two best fights to make would be Patricio Pitbull versus Volkanovski and Douglas Lima versus Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, makes sense, right?
Then they talked about the Cam Soda Freak Show card.
Dude, this was one of the funnest parts, or most fun parts, I should say.
Tremendous. They even made their own. They had their own segment to their own Freak Show fights. They said, "How about Joseph Benavidez and Cody Garbrandt versus one Francis Ngannou?"
That's right. Actually, you guys will hear a clip of that on the break coming up
He also said,
it's real good.
A prime Dominic Cruz versus all of Team Alpha Male in one night.
Yep.
And they said, "Where's TJ in this? Is he part of Team Alpha?" I'm like, no, he's actually the ref, and he's representing Team Peanut Butter with Bang.
Yeah, it was a nice touch. I believe that was a Kristen King special.
I don't have any more notes besides that because I was too busy laughing. I thought it was funny.
It was really, really funny and just a lot of fun. I mean, to be fair, all these dudes are great. Matt Hunter absolutely killed it in this episode with some of his jokes. I mean, you guys heard on the intro them dunking on Chaudhry so hard for all of his, or I should say, them respecting the honor and integrity of Chaudhry so hard, because obviously it's not like these trash Western martial arts, and they have honor and discipline out there in one championship. Fuck, man, there was just all of this thing was was so much fun. I mean, Dana at the RNC and all that stuff was fucking crazy funny. There's a ton of good Coke jokes about both Oscar De La Hoya and Dana in here. Yeah, and then at the end, they talk about how they all got into the sport, which was pretty cool to hear. Because it's a pretty wild range of ways that it happens. I mean, then that tends to be how it goes. Not everybody has the boring story like I do, where it's like, oh, well, the dude in the ER who reset my fucking hand when I hit a fucking stud in the wall was like, oh, bro, do you watch UFC fights and know that dude Jens Pulver? And I'm like, I kind of do know the name Jens Pulver, but I should probably watch some of that. And then watch fucking Tough One and off to the races. But yeah, just a fun episode overall, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Sweet. Let's see. Did you listen to any new shows this week?
I did not actually. I've been good on that for the past couple of weeks. I guess I just kind of didn't.
It's all good. So I actually listened to two. One of which we actually just talked about. Matt Hunter, who was on the Unleashed episode 50. He has a show called Mixed Combat Radio, and I listened to the August 25th episode. And so the way his show works, it looks like, I think I finally figured out his podcast feed, although it's wild confusing. Like, it's mad confusing trying to figure out his feed. I'm guessing it's a combination of a couple video feeds and a couple podcast feeds. But boy, because there's like sometimes 2 or 3 versions of the same episode, but they're labeled slightly differently. And so it can be real confusing. And also one of his shows is like 100% just a political show. Because if y'all don't know, Matt Hunter is not about capitalism, and he's definitely not willing to be quiet about it, which I fucks with for sure. I like a lot of things about Matt Hunter, but the show I listened to was mostly boxing focused, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But he had a co-host, George from Dallas, on, who is one of like a couple rotating co-hosts, and they talk about Loma versus Teofimo Lopez negotiations.
Dude, that's going to be such a great fucking fight, and the fact that Loma was like, "Hey, let's get our boy paid,"
Yeah. Well, and also, like, why the fuck would you not throw money at Lopez to make this happen right now? Like, they have money. They can do it. And just fucking do it.
If I can ask, did they, and I imagine they talked about this, did they talk about a certain Instagram star finally getting a real fight?
Oh no, thank God, because it's a real respectable fucking show.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
I'm guessing it's the fuck boy who keeps getting in trouble with the feds. Is his last name start with a P?
No.
Oh, okay. What other Instagram star, not YouTube star?
I'm talking about that piece of shit. No,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
that guy's not a star. He is that
Okay,
guy
well,
is
I mean-
fucking disgracing boxing. He can go fuck himself.
No,
I hope he
he's
gets knocked
a
the fuck
disgrace
out.
in life. I
Yeah.
don't think he's.
Anyways, no, I'm talking about
boxing.
Ryan Garcia. He's talented. He's 20-0. He's got really quick hands. He's
Yeah, they
only
talk a
21.
little. Yeah, they talk a little
But
bit about
he's fighting
Garcia,
Luke
but-
Campbell, former champion, Olympic gold medal champion. So it's going to be a massive big step up for Garcia. We'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Because as of right now, it's just him on. He's living in La Jolla, and he's just posting videos of him punching his friends while they're wearing like body pads on really hard. And
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of. Oh yeah, dude, those totally look like La Jolla houses. Actually, now that you mention,
Oh no,
that's
he
where that
lives
is.
here. Yeah, he lives here in San Diego.
I figured it was OC, but yeah, no.
No,
now
he
that you
lives
say
here,
it's La Jolla, it 100% checks out. There are so many in like foyers of La Jolla houses that look exactly like where he's doing that. Oh my god!
Yeah, if I were to guess, he's probably near Belvedere.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say I could literally probably pick out the sectional. I have never lived anywhere over there, but I definitely drank in enough of those houses where all the
So
people's
have I.
parents were out of town that I could definitely point
Those
some of
are
it
the
out.
people we need to know.
Yeah, no, it's the people who all got the dope pools and all have the nannies who keep their mouths shut because it's La Jolla. But yeah, it's a good episode overall. Actually, I might recommend you go back and listen to it. There's a lot of boxing talk, so a decent amount of baseball talk also on that one. Which
Yeah,
I
because I've been on a big boxing kick as of late. I've been getting back into the sport, so.
Then yeah, dude, you should definitely check out Mixed Combat Radio. I mean, Matt Hunter was like the snarky dude on the Unleashed episode. If you were to think about who's the snarky one, that would be him, and he's hilarious. He was the one who was making fun of Chaudhry the hardest, and when they asked him about some kind of I forget what it was, but they asked him some kind of question, and he's like, I am against capitalism. Anyway, it's good shit. So definitely recommend checking it out. Also talks about Delarme versus Jamal Jones and Omar Juarez versus Shaw, I believe. Although I'm not positive that's correct, because also the other new show I listened to this week, let me make sure I have this name right. I know I do tweeted us. I have not responded yet because when he tweeted us, I had not listened yet. Hey, shouts out to David Golden, who gave us a retweet about the episode.
Oh, nice.
Where are you, my guy? Okay, wait. Where? Oh, that's right. It wasn't there. It was here. It is Joseph Andrew Shaw. So Joseph Andrew Shaw has a new podcast called MMA, or at least Joseph Andrew Shaw. Please let me know tweet us the actual official name of your podcast, and we'll tweet it out with that. Because I don't know what it is. I know that the episode, I believe, was called MMA Episode 2, but I don't know what's called his actual show. I believe Joseph Andrew Shaw. Let me pull up his Twitter to make sure. But I believe, yeah, he is one of the guys who were signed on with MMA contributors. Or, sorry, not MMA contributors. God damn it, I read the word and said the wrong one. He's a new account contributor to MMAprospects.com, which is the website started, I believe, by Michael Fidel, who he essentially started an entire website, MMA-prospects.com, which is all focused on young prospects and kind of keeping an eye on them and people to look out for. That is hard fucking work, and it is thankless work, but it is the coolest shit. Like, that is how you find out about all the dope shit coming up. And so Joseph Andrew Shaw is one of the contributors there, and his second episode that he did of his podcast is with Zane Simon. And man, it's just really good. Like, imagine if you were to have Zane Simon on a show with a dude with an English accent, and they were just going to talk about fights that recently happened and fights that are coming up. I mean, it was really good. I honestly don't have much to say other than that. I feel like this show is probably going to grow a lot as it kind of goes on. I mean, 2 episodes in, you're kind of still figuring out your format and all that. But man, I had fun listening to it, and like maybe part of that's probably because I like Zane Simon shit in general. I believe, as I tweeted out during the show yesterday, or during the fights yesterday, I am absolutely... Fidel is the man, Phil. I 100% agree, and I'm super excited about that prospect.
I remember they mentioned him a lot on Unleashed as well, too, because I think they had a segment of which MMA journalists should fight each other.
Yeah, that was... I should have pulled that clip, too. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I remember they said Mark Raimondi should fight Brett O'Connor.
Yeah, they said Fidel versus... who's
I think Aaron Bronstetter.
Oh, no, I think it was Nolan King. Or it was one of the super young dudes in the sport. Or in the media space. Maybe it wasn't King. It was somebody like that, though. But, yeah, it was great. But
maybe it's like the Brazilian kid who's like a fucking teenager and gets all the scoops.
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, no, it was a really good show, and I'm excited to see what he does with it going forward. I always enjoy Zane Simon stuff. And, yeah, it'll be cool to see how that kind of builds out. Also, with Prospect Watch, like, Zane Simon, getting him on that early is a great call because Zane Simon is, of course, one of the dudes from Bloody Elbow who does all of the incredibly difficult and frustrating work of tracking who was actually signed to the UFC at whatever time. And he always does the articles of, like, who's been dropped recently, who's gotten signed recently. And he has an ongoing list, which is, like, probably the go-to reference for if you ever want, like, who is in a division. Like, the Zane Simon's list on Bloody Elbow is absolutely the go-to. So, yeah, man, overall, I really like what Joseph Andrew Shaw is doing. And I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it going forward.
Hell yeah.
Cool, mate. Let's see. So, do you have any other honorable mentions or anything before we get to Well-Rounded here shortly?
Nope. I'm ready for the well-rounded if you are, unless you got some honorables you want to...
I got a couple, but I'm just going to sprint through them. Fights Gone By, episode 225 and 226 were both really good.
Oh, I missed that.
They're both really solid. I mean, a lot of boxing talk about Povetkin's KO over White. Actually, a lot of Jersey Joe Walcott talk from Jack Slack on that, too, since that's one of his favorites, and it's a similar kind of combination that Jersey Joe Walcott would lean on. And he talks about Edgar only ever going to the body with weak arm punches. Frankie versus Munoz. Frankie... Yeah, okay. I just realized if you phrase it like that, it makes it almost not a thing anymore. And you're like, what kind of Malcolm in the Middle bullshit is this?
Hello.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't remember the Jimmy Eat World song, but 100%.
And it wasn't Jimmy Eat World either.
Well, whatever, Chris. You're not the boss of me, all right? God damn it, I hate that. I'm not happy with those
Sorry,
references.
I had to start singing that.
No, not only did you ruin it, I ruined it. It's all... we both broke. Let's see. Fights Gone By 226 is really good. Breaking down the upcoming card. And a lot of interesting talk about Southpaw double attacks, which I thought was cool. And why they work for Southpaws more often than they work for Orthodox fighters. And kind of whether or not that's adaptable. Severe and May, Severe and May in general this week. I honestly could have made, and I maybe should have made, Sean Sheehan's work on the Severe and May Patreon this week. That's arguably a catch in general. Dude has been on vacation all week, so he, of course, like he always does, but essentially backlogged about twice the amount of content he normally puts out. And so I think they put out a regular episode, and then I think they put out 3 or 4 different Patreon episodes this week. So we had one with him and Graham talking in general before their vacations. They also had the main episode, like I mentioned, and they also had the State of Irish MMA episode he did with Andy Stevenson. Actually, you know what? On the main episode this week was Philip O'Connor, not Graham. But yeah, just great overall, and man, one of the best Patreons out there that you can sign up for is definitely Severe MMA. They do some great stuff.
I have to ruin it again for you. The song is called Boss of Me by They Might Be Giants.
They Might Be Giants. See, I knew it was somebody like that.
Yeah.
It was.
I was going to say Young the Giant. Like, no, that band's too new.
I knew it wasn't Minus the Bear, but I knew it was one of those bands that's got 3 or 4
Yeah, so you were on that same. I was like,
it
might be. There's like Young the Giant, Minus the Bear. No.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, was They Might Be Giants the band who did this stuff for Aziz Ansari's show that he did with Ben Schwartz also?
Oh,
There's a very specific reference. I think they was that the show with Paul Scheer also?
When I think Aziz Ansari and Ben Schwartz, I just think of Parks and Rec because they're both on.
Well, I know Paul Scheer and Aziz had that show. Was it called? Oh, it's Human Giant. See,
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Too many giants.
Yeah, 100%. There might be human giants somewhere. Anyway, Verbal Tap MMA episode 423 was really good. I like that show a lot, man. If you guys don't want to hear them shit on Dana White and the RNC a lot, don't listen to that episode, but it's a lot of fun. Grange TV episode 72, it was an interview with Kung Lee, which is really interesting, talking about the antitrust case that he is, of course, one of the main people in. And it's interesting talks about like how the weird positive test came out in his fight that he had in Macau, I believe, against Bisping way back in the day. And then like all those tests got destroyed, so they couldn't actually test them again, including Bisping samples from the same night. And like a lot of talk about acting. He talks about how Javier Mendez was on the Tekken set with him so he could hit pads on downtime. It's just a cool interview. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Co-main event live chat for August 26th. I mean, if you want to hear the CME talk about Fight Circus and the Ryan Bader watch party, which, oh god, that fucking Ryan Bader watch party. Yeah, man. That was a lot of fun. Eurobash for August 24th was good. They have an interview with Darren Till, as well as with Jack.
Or you mean the Bash?
You're right, it's the Bash. Oh, fuck, I wrote Eurobash. You're right, it's the Bash for August 24th. Thank you for correcting that.
You fucking rookie.
No, 100%, especially since fucking it's 100% always fuck MMA fighting. Ever since they made their fucking journalists sign fucking
I
don't care about my job waivers. Yeah. They made them sign I have zero credibility waivers. Anyway, yeah, really good episode. They had Darren Till on, they had Jack Hermanson on, and they had Brandon Gibson on. Really interesting. The Fight Site interview with Jillian Robertson, which if you guys are live here in chat, you guys saw me shout out Phil in when he dropped in. It was a really fun interview. As Phil says, him and Jillian are friends now, or they're pals. And yeah, it's just a really fun interview. And I love Phil's interview style, because I don't know if it's his accent or what, but it feels like every time he asks the questions, fighters are at first thinking like, oh, this is gonna be some fucking casual bullshit, and then Phil actually drops like very technical like questions and like, oh, so do you dig an underhook here for this kind of reason, or are you posting this way because of this for these types of situations? And then you can like almost actively hear the fighter be like, oh shit, and then get excited to answer. So it's pretty cool, man. I really like those interviews. And so yeah, if you guys aren't listening to the stuff Phil's doing on the Fight Site, you're fucking up. Plus, just a very nice dude, as you guys have heard as he's dropping in chat. Also, Ed Gallo had Jack Hurley on as a guest on the Fight Site MMA, or the Fight Site Wrestling podcast, rather, to talk about Chael Sonnen's Wrestling Underground pre-show. And because Chael Sonnen today, actually, which I did not get a chance to watch yet, because it was happening right before we started recording, and I had to do some editing for our clips, but the Fight Site, or sorry, not the Fight Site, Chael Sonnen did a essentially Submission Underground event, but all wrestling based and in a cage. It's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and again, I haven't seen the event yet, but it was really cool to hear them kind of break down the matchups of the different wrestlers competing and talk about kind of the different rule sets and all that. I'm very curious about it. See what it looks like.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yo, I'm almost done, bro. All good.
Oh, well, on that note, I guess I should sprint through these last couple. Shots Fired, episode 3 was good. Man, a lot of talk about the fucking dumb racists on MMA Twitter, including Tara La Rosa.
Yeah.
Believe You Me, episode 251 with Aljo was really solid. It was pre-taped before episode 250, since Bisping was going in for knee surgery and Lewis is moving. The Outsiders for August 28th, 2020 was really solid, with Jeff rocking a UFC 1 shirt somehow. Oh shit! Also, fuck, I forgot to wear this for the episode. But I did get, Chris can't see this, but I did get the dopest shirt recently.
Dude, just wear it for our recap segment.
There you go, I will. But I got the dopest shirt recently. Someone, I forget who on Twitter, I'll look it up after this, but they made a UFC shirt, and there's a picture of two John Joneses. One says hardcore, one says casual underneath it. Can you guess which one is which?
Yeah, you sent me that link, and I sent it to friend of the podcast, Jake.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, so I got that shirt. So I got the...
Which that reminds me, we need to have Jake on here. God damn it.
Dude, we really do. Jake sounds like a funny motherfucker.
Okay,
so.
fuck, we gotta... What's the... We'll do in the next time, because we're doing a preview... We're not doing a recap.
I was gonna say, like I told a dude who hit us up recently. Actually, you know the guy who does all the cool animations on Twitter, Toby. He does the cool like silhouette animations of fights. Have you seen those?
I think I have.
Where it's like silhouettes of finishes. So it's hand drawn silhouette animations of finishes, basically. I'll send it to you on the break. But anyway, he reached out and he asked if we ever want to have him on as a guest. I was like, dude, you know what? Yeah, tell us a card coming up that you're excited about, and we'll do a pick show. We'll do a pick segment with you. So we may have him coming up in the future, because that dude's doing cool ass shit on Twitter. Here, you know what? While I'm talking right now, I'll pull up his Twitter and actually shout out exactly what it is. Because Toby on Twitter, I'm sure, will take you to some weird places if you're not careful. Toby Wardell, Wardell. So it's TOBY underscore Wardell. Yeah, very cool dude. And hopefully we'll have him on here in the future. Let's see. Oh, right. The Outsiders was really good. Yeah, just very solid episode. UFC Unfiltered for August 26th. Was really solid as well. They had Dean Thomas subbed in for Jim Norton.
Aren't they doing video now?
Yeah, on Fight Pass they're doing video.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. So if you still have a Fight Pass account, which is just me.
No, I do too.
Do you really? Oh, I guess you do, right? Since we use it for stuff still. But yeah, so Jim Norton is out after the first segment, so Dean Thomas kind of co-hosted for him, and yeah, just a lot of fun, shit talking, interviews with Neil Magny, interviews with Anthony Smith, and yeah, a lot of shit talk. Dean having coronavirus, all that.
That's right.
Loudmouth MMA, they had their breakdown episode for UFC Smith vs. Rakic was really good, with Davidson Baker, Marcel, and AJ. Care Don't Care, the UFC's Vegas 7 review and UFC Vegas 8 preview. Really solid. I mean, anytime you get Steffi, John Nash, and Eugene S. Robinson on a show, I'm on board. Level Change, episode 86 was also really solid as well. I really like that. And also, Chris, they asked a question that I think is going to be very relevant in the future that I have not heard anyone else ask. Have you heard about the UFC hotel?
UFC hotel?
Yeah, so the UFC recently announced that they're going to make a hotel in Vegas.
Not in Vegas. The only hotel I'd heard about is the one that they had in Abu Dhabi, but yeah, I haven't heard of one.
So they're planning on starting one in Vegas, essentially for the fighters, because they're, of course, just basically renting rooms in hotels, and it's going to cost them a fucking ton of money. So they bought 10 acres in Vegas.
Checks out.
Yeah. The question that I believe it was Steffi that had it, but it could have been, I'm not positive, it could have been either Victor or Mookie also. The question is, how long until that hotel becomes casino? Because it's not like the Fertittas are not constantly involved in Vegas or with things Dana White does. And also, what are the odds that casino has a union? Because it's how much lower than zero is it? Yeah. I never thought about that, but I heard them bring it up. I was like, fuck, that is absolutely the right read, and that is super depressing. Also, fighters, hey, they're buying a hotel with your money. Just for the record. I just want to put that out there. And then lastly, the Money Right Fight Club for UFC Vegas 8 predictions. Money Right Fight Club is the show hosted by Gabe Killian that he just recently started, who is he's the LA comedian that you may recognize. Well, actually, you wouldn't recognize by sound, but he's the one that if you guys have at all listened to Punch Drunk Sports over the years, you would recognize Gabe from that. Or if you've ever bought fried chicken or a hot chicken, what is it? A Nashville, Tennessee hot chicken on the street in LA, that would be Gabe also, I'd assume. But yeah, really interesting episode. He had Edmund Tarverdyan's, I forget if it's cousin or brother on, and then he had a couple other dudes on. Shit, I should know this off the top of my head here. Let me pull it up. Since I did not write it down. So I'm going to our Twitter. This is the best part of the podcast, I know. This is the part everybody loves, where I pull up our Twitter so I can remember what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh my god, this was too far back on our Twitter. Okay. Well, anyway, link in the description as always, or you can go to thesoundofviolence.com or sovpod.com, and we have the full info there. But yeah, he had a couple good guests on. Actually, now that I'm remembering, I believe Earl Skakel is one of them, which is, boy, that's a thing, huh? And, oh god, who else is on here? I just got it up. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Marcel is on here, and AJ. This is like this is like basically half of the Loudmouth MMA preview show. Now that I'm looking at it, actually. Yeah. So it's Leon Shabazian, AJ and Marcel from the Loudmouth MMA breakdown.
Okay.
And then the
Nice.
Smack God with Gabe Killian, or AKA Gabe the Banker. And yeah, just a fun one overall, man. So yeah, as always, also, if you guys look at our YouTube channel, The Sound of Violence, we do have a playlist where we add all this stuff. So if you're ever looking throughout the week for like shows to listen to, you can check out our YouTube channel, and I always try to have a playlist running throughout the week of stuff I'm catching up on, so that way you guys have a reference point of stuff to look for. So that's all I got on that, Chris. Well, boy, we've gone long in this first segment. I don't know how it seems to get longer every week. But to be fair, I think this second segment's going to go very quickly. So, let's see. Before we get out of here for this first one, what was your well-rounded for this week that's not MMA related?
I mean, probably the same as yours, I would imagine.
Yep, 4 Brewers, session 112, a.k.a. episode 310 of the North Park Brewing Company episode.
Or Beer Company. I always keep saying Brewing Company, too.
Is it Beer Co.?
It's North Park Beer Company.
You're right. It's totally Beer Company. I fuck that up every time.
I only know that because I was doing the same thing you were doing forever.
Well, there
And
you
I
go.
keep looking at the can. I'm like, wait, I'm wrong.
No, yeah, I literally had to glance over to check. But yeah, have you listened to that show before, 4 Brewers, with
Yeah, briefly. I've listened to a couple of them.
John Holzer, Jason Harris, and then the other two have been rotating recently. One of the guys actually was from San Diego this week, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's talking about, I think his sister-in-law lives there too, like near North Park, and talking about how dope North Park is just for the brewery scene, craft beer scene.
Yeah, well, 4 Brewers is hosted by guys who, I got into beer because of that show. Well, not that show, but the show they did before that John Holzer hosted with Stephen Day and way back in the day, Brad Katona, I want to say his last name is, which was New Brew Thursdays. This was, literally, it was so long ago that in the intro for that show, they had a guy in a pool drinking a Coors. That was how long ago. That show was from like 04, 05 maybe. It was like probably one of the first video podcasts I subscribed to on iTunes. Back in like 04, 05. Again, I've been listening to podcasts for a little bit. Yeah, they've been doing cool things for years, and then they eventually transitioned from New Brew Thursday to 4 Brewers, which is what they do now. And yeah, man, just cool as shit, right?
Yeah, I know they talked
Crazy
about
knowledgeable.
Yeah, the Covington Pilsner review they gave, they said it's very corny but clean, similar to a Pabst Blue Ribbon, which isn't a bad thing. I'd honestly say Pabst Blue Ribbon's one of my favorite affordable beers.
And this is honestly like, if you were to make Pabst, if you were to take the sweetness out of Pabst and make it a little bit crisper, is kind of what my feeling on it. like, which is a huge compliment.
Yeah, and I know they said Pilsners have been the most common and popular style of beer in the United States for over a century. They like the beer a lot. And then the beer that I had, they also reviewed a Wizard Cup, which you and I briefly discussed in the beginning. It's a collaboration with Modern Times.
Yeah, it's the Strata, right?
Strata hops, very clean and crushable. Like, I gotta piss my pants right now because I kept killing the beers.
You and I both.
Very clean and crushable with pine and citrus notes. It's fucking good. And then they went on a long spiel about the Warrior hops, how it's kind of like a hop made by Ballast Point because it was introduced in Sculpin, I believe, like back in the day.
I forgot about that.
And then they discussed this process called alpha acid. It's like some sort of process that dictates IBU levels without affecting the actual hops, which I thought was interesting.
Wait, is that like the remember how we got? Oh no, I'm thinking cryo hops. Right, alpha acids are like the like super bitterness.
Yeah.
So like I think what they were saying is that the lower alpha acid hops that are now coming out, like the more like mosaics and that kind of thing, you're getting a lot less of that like acrid bitter taste and a lot more of like the piney or even like citrusy.
And there's a lot more I could have written down as well. I just didn't really.
I mean, those shows are chock full of information. They also, on that episode, looked at Black is Beautiful, too.
Yep, they mentioned Black is Beautiful. They reviewed the one from North Park, which you and I had, and it reminded me a lot of... I
still got one in the fridge that I've been
licorice.
saving.
I think it was... No. Yeah, licorice. Which I love black licorice, so I like that one a lot. And one of them said, when you put lactose in a beer, it makes it taste worse. I kind of agree with that.
It depends. People overdo lactose a lot.
I've had a bad experience with lactose in general. One beer being, and it's not a bad tasting beer, it didn't settle with my stomach, unfortunately, was the Belching Beaver Peanut Butter Milk Stout.
That one can be a little... that one's also nitro a lot of times when you get it, which also doesn't help with, like, lactose and nitro is a kind of a thick, rough combo. Like, that's the problem a lot of people have with like the what's that Mother Earth Cali Creamin'? Yeah, same kind of thing where it's like lactose and nitro, where you're like, this is just kind of like a milkshake that is foamy. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of has that vibe to it, but. Cool, man. Yeah, all in all, I mean, that's one of my favorite shows ever. And yeah, I actually saw they did one on North Park. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta watch this. So that's why I sent it over to you. So
I'm glad you did. That was worth a listen for sure.
Definitely. Let's see some other ones that I had for well-rounded, since that was definitely one of mine. Basic Brewing Video. Basic Brewing Video. Speaking of fucking podcasts I've been listening to since 2005, literally. So what's that, 15 years now? Good God, I feel old. And also, I didn't realize how old I felt until I looked at this video. I was like, oh, Jesus. I remember when one of these dudes had full hair and it wasn't gray. That's literally how long I've been watching this show. Although, to be fair, I've been subscribed since then. But when I was watching it back then, I was literally watching it on iTunes as a video podcast. This is like the Tiki Bar TV era of like 05 and shit, so been a long time. But I randomly on YouTube came across that I evidently have always been subscribed to, Basic Brewing Video. But they did a Black is Beautiful beer, which it's kind of very cool to see. I guess you would need context, but like these are two very old white dudes that like basically could be my dad. Like, if you were to look at a picture of my dad, if I was to put a picture of three people on the screen and one of them is my dad, you wouldn't be able to tell which one it is, because they all look just like old white dudes who would all be grumpy and almost Hitler Youth-esque looking. But only one of them would be mad about the beer Black is Beautiful, and that'd probably be my dad, because they did a very cool kind of tribute on that, and yeah, it was just very cool to see them, because I would have thought, like, of anyone in the beer community, it's just so not their genre, or like, you know, like, I don't know, stereotypes are a thing, and clearly I did one in this, because I would have never thought they would have been like, oh yeah, we're doing Black is Beautiful, but no, they did a Black is Beautiful collab, which is like, kind of really cool to see. They're like classic Midwest dads in a real ass way, and so it's very cool to see them do that. So I wanted to give them a big shout out for that because, I don't know, it just warms the cockles, as Anderson Callan of the Film Vault would say. Let's see. Okay, well, before I get into horrible things, Three Sheets. Chris, you've watched Three Sheets with me in the past, right? The drinking show? So
yeah, with Zane Lamprey.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been on Hulu in the past, but they are starting to re-add the episodes on YouTube, and they're doing it with pop-ups. So think like the old VH1 pop-up video kind of thing. But they're doing that with the old episodes where they're popping up comments, and then every once in a while Zane will pop in with like a director commentary over the episode. It's fucking great. If you guys have never seen this show, it's the best drinking show that's ever existed in all of mankind. It's not close. The only other close ones would be other shows that Zane Lamprey has created, or maybe David Tell's Insomniac. That's the only other one that gets anywhere close. It's fucking beautiful, and if you guys have not seen this, like, it's okay. So it's essentially, think Anthony Bourdain but booze. And I know, like, you've probably seen all the shitty A&E, like Booze Traveler or whatever the fuck versions of those shows are. They're like poor imitations of this one. This is the travel booze show, if there is one ever, is Three Sheets. Fuck, man. In the first season, I know they go to Croatia. Or no, wait. I don't know if Croatia's first season. Costa Rica's first season. Belgium is first season. I want to say France is first season. I want to say maybe Jamaica was first season. Can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, keep an eye on it because it's going to be really, really, really fun. And if you guys like drinking shows, holy shit, is this the one? Like, I can't express this enough. It's dude, his New Orleans episode for Drinking Made Easy, which is technically a different show, but technically a very similar show. Oh, God, man. It's real good. He goes to fucking Monk breweries in Belgium in that fucking first episode. He goes to fucking Orval and shit. Like, it's some real ass shit. He fucking meets up with Logan the beer hunter in the first episode. The beer hunter. Oh my god. The fucking Sweden fucking ski patrol episode. Oh my god. I can't even. So I've been talking to our friend, actually, who you guys know from episode 100, Trevor, on this stuff recently. Since me and him used to always hang out and drink and watch that show. And yeah, you guys should be excited about this shit. Lastly, Class Action Park, the HBO show, or HBO documentary they just put out about Action Park, the Jersey, like, trash show that was run by a bunch of drunk teenagers. It's essentially a theme park in Jersey, or like a water park / amusement park in Jersey. It was run by a bunch of drunk teenagers, and basically there was no supervision. And they also would have crazy shit like, if you guys have ever seen a water slide that has a full loop in it, that's from Action Park, and it was a real ass thing. And there was like hella people who like got serious ass injuries from it. They had to like shut it down. They have some I've heard what I thought was all the crazy stories about this shit. Nope, I haven't. There's a lot more crazy stories, so that's worth checking out. And then lastly, Legion of Skanks, I mentioned, recently voted Ari Shaffir as president over Luis J. Gomez because fuck you, Luis, y'all. Fuck you, Luis. But it was one of the craziest series of podcasts I've probably ever listened to. They yell lots of horrible things during this. They don't social distance. Luis J. Gomez is smoking weed that strangers in the crowd are giving him off of joints that they've already been smoking off of. None of it's responsible. All of it's irresponsible. Most of the people should probably be in jail. But it's good goddamn comedy. I'm not going to lie. So, take it with a grain of salt and deal with it if you can. So on that note, Chris, we're going to take a piss break, and then we are going to come back to super briefly talk about this fight card that happened yesterday, which was chaos.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to take this break, and in the meantime, you guys can listen to this clip of, I'm just going to call it MMA Thunderdome as pitched by Unleashed, episode 50. So, here we go. We're right back.
by the sound of violence.
I got one for you. Francis Ngannou versus Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt at the same time.
I was actually
honest, he probably win.
I was gonna say the same thing, except instead of Garbrandt, Joseph Benavidez. I think, but otherwise the exact same thing. I was thinking that's
all three of them. Fuck it. Okay.
I'm saying like Ngannou versus the three best wrestlers in the lower weight classes.
All right. I want like some Master Blaster shit. I want Ryan Bader with Alima Lay McFarland on his shoulders versus Stipe Miocic with Valentina Shevchenko on his shoulders, and you either gotta knock the chick off the seat, or you know like knock out the man.
Are you excited about it all?
Liked by the sounders.
Isn't that about the clearest possible
Yeah.
conflict of interest that you could possibly get for an organization that already has a history of changing results they don't like?
Well, no, Jay, you got it all wrong. I mean, they have a governing body that they've appointed to oversee these things, so it's okay. It's all above board.
And also,
right.
And Chatri is a man of honor and respect.
I mean, this is about integrity, Jay. How dare you?
This isn't Western martial arts. This isn't Western martial arts.
You're right.
They're building heroes, Jay.
They're building movie stars.
A universe of heroes. Come on.
For billions and billions of watchers around the world.
Potential.
Just watch and be inspired by these heroes, Jay. And you just get upon them.
Didn't you see the COVID relief concert they put on with Lady Gaga?
I mean, man, they blew it out of the water. They raised like $150 million by themselves.
Yeah.
They got Celine Dion and LL Cool J. Jay. Who did you get? Huh? Who did you get, Ben?
No, that was Cotry. That was Cotry, not you. Man of honor.
Liked by the sound of violence.
I got one for you. Francis Ngannou versus Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt at the same time.
I was actually
going to probably win.
I was going to say the same thing, except instead of Garbrandt, Joseph Benavidez. I think, but otherwise the exact same thing. I was thinking that's
all three of them. Fuck it. Okay.
I'm saying like Ngannou versus the three best wrestlers in the lower weight classes.
Right. I want like some Master Blaster shit. I want Ryan Bader with Alima Lay McFarland on his shoulders versus Stipe Miocic with Valentina Shevchenko on his shoulders, and you either gotta knock the chick off the seat, or you know like knock out the man.
Generation, are you excited about it all?
Liked by the sound of violence.
Isn't that about
There
the
you go.
clearest possible
Yeah.
conflict of interest that you could possibly get for an organization that already has a history of changing results they don't like?
Well, no, Jay, you got it all wrong. I mean, they
I
have
know.
they have a governing body that they've appointed to oversee these things, so it's okay. It's all above board.
And,
I'm
and also,
right.
and Chatri is a man of honor and respect.
I mean, this is about integrity, Jay. How
Yeah.
dare you?
This isn't
slander their name.
Western martial arts. This isn't Western martial arts.
You're right.
They're building heroes, Jay.
They're
They're
building
building
movie stars.
A universe of heroes. Come on.
For billions and billions of watchers around the world. Jay.
Potential.
Just watch and being inspired by these heroes, Jay, and you just get upon them.
Didn't you see the COVID relief concert they put on with Lady Gaga?
I
And all
mean, man, they blew it out of the water.
What
They
LL
raised like
Cool-
$150 million by themselves.
Yeah.
They got Celine Dion and LL Cool J. Jay. Who did you get? Huh? Who did you get, Ben?
No, that was
You got-
Chatri. That was Chatri, not you. Man of honor.
by the sound of violence.
I got one for you. Francis Ngannou versus Davison Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt at the same time.
I was actually
going to say probably win.
I was going to say the same thing, except instead of Garbrandt, Joseph Benavidez. I think, but otherwise the exact same thing. I was thinking that's
all three of them. Fuck it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying like Ngannou versus the three best wrestlers in the lower weight classes.
Right. I want like some Master Blaster shit. I want Ryan Bader with Alima Lay McFarlane on his shoulders versus Stipe Miocic with Valentina Shevchenko on his shoulders, and you either gotta knock the chick off the seat, or knock out the man.
Generation, are you excited about it all?
All right, everyone, we're back.
Yeah, we are.
We are back to recap. Well, if you want to call it that, we are back to recap UFC Fight Night Smith versus Rakic, which took place at the UFC Apex.
That's right, and the prelims of this card were fire. The main card was a lot of fun up until the end.
I mean, yeah, to put it simply.
Yeah, succinctly, if you will. But before we get to that, Chris, you are drinking on a new beer. I heard that is not a fucking Rolling Rock.
Yeah, my brother to the rescue. You probably heard him knock on the door.
Oh yeah. Actually, at the end of the last segment, definitely.
He was like, "Hello."
Killer tofu. Me and Chris have been making fucking Doug references for the last fucking 4 minutes on break. So,
you killer tofu. This is not killer tofu. This is the Mosaic.
That's right. Chris is thinking big over there.
The Mosaic IPA from Carl Strauss. Real good. A San Diego favorite.
Yeah, no, it's honestly one of the most delicious pale ales of all time, and widely available, and like that's one of the best Mosaic. They get some of the best Mosaic out of the majority I've had. I feel like their Mosaic specifically that they're able to get from hop pulls is like super tropical compared to everybody else. Because you know sometimes with Mosaic it'll range from like orange to like full on fucking tiki drink. Like I feel like specifically the Mosaic from Carl Strauss is like ultra fruity.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I mean this is probably one of my top favorite beers from Carl Strauss in general. And I think it's their best beer, really. I know.
I mean, it's got to be up there. Wreck Alley Stout is really good. Just their amber is probably the best amber I've ever had.
I know a lot of people like Red Trolley's fine. I have nothing against Red Trolley.
Red Trolley's really good for cooking.
Yeah, and Red Trolley when they had, and I remember they had this at Players. You can get the 100 ounce.
Oh, dude, the you guys know them as like the it's like a yard rails. Essentially.
Off the rails.
Yeah.
Is what it was called.
Oh, dude, off the rails. Yeah, that's the red double, right?
It was a double red or an imperial red that they did.
Yeah,
it was so
that
good.
shit is. Well, also that red is so close to being like almost like a chocolate beer. Like it's so there's so much chocolate melt in that red. I would assume. Because there's so much chocolate flavor in that red in their regular Red Trolley, much less the double Red Trolley. Like I feel like that thing was like just a giant sweet malt bomb that was like very caramel chocolate forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it did have some chocolate in it.
It might not be chocolate. It might be caramel that I'm confusing it with, but it was desserty as shit. But yeah, no, I loved it. And Wreck Alley, their stout is fucking delicious. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm mostly, honestly, those are probably the Mosaic, Red Trolley, Wreck Alley, and then like, you know, some like Boat Shoes and some of their one-offs are like my
Boat Shoes is a good hazy, yeah.
Boat Shoes is a great hazy, and also
Follow the Sun Pilsner.
Also, I feel so bad that Chris Kramer of fucking Carl Strauss came up to us like, "Oh, what are y'all drinking?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm drinking a Harland, but god damn it, do I wish I got a Mosaic just before this."
Yeah, I remember you got to meet that guy last year. That was sick.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart, dude. Like one of the nicest guys ever in the brewing it. Although I feel like you could say that about a lot of the brewers in the industry. Like aside from maybe like the big names who you've heard, maybe the guys who are calling them Beer Jesus. Maybe some of those, guys are not the best to engage with, but like all the just brewery owners in the city, I feel like are sweethearts. Like I've rarely ever come across one that was like even somewhere near not like just a goddamn sweetheart. So, yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, not a beer show, so I guess we should talk about fights, Chris. But wait! Before we get to that, we are still a beer show. So I just realized I did not intro my beer, which I'm drinking out of. I'm also drinking out of my Four Brewers anniversary glass, I believe it is. I don't brew the shit out of it, but Chris sure does. Also, I should start brewing, right?
I mean, you brewed that one beer with me.
I mean, I make bread. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Not too far off. Just less liquid involved.
Well,
a lot less liquid involved.
Yeah. Well, I was cleaning involved in baking bread. I am drinking key lime fluffies. The key lime parfait sour, as they describe it. Oh, that really doesn't focus well at all. Oh my god, That doesn't autofocus, evidently. It's fucking delicious. Okay, so how do I describe this? It's like a goza, right? So it's like a salty, soury kind of thing, right? Like, if I was to describe this beer, I guess I would say, have you had the Buena Vista Lager from Stone? Like the salt
I tried.
lager?
So I went to Dino's with Trevor the other day. Rest in peace to Dino Zane. By the way.
Dude, you
passed
mean
away.
in Claremont Square, right?
Yep.
Yeah. RIP to that. By the way, one of the oldest Greek restaurants in our area. And, family run, beloved as fuck. And that shit, that was one of the first casualties of coronavirus.
Anyways, Trevor had tried the Buena Vista.
I think it's Buena Vista. Let me double check. It's
the
Buena
one that
something.
he tried, it supposedly had jalapenos in it, but it wasn't. I tried. It wasn't really that spicy.
Oh, Buena Vesa. I'm sorry.
Vesa.
I knew it was something like that, and I knew it sounded wrong every time I said it.
So no, I didn't try the regular one. I tried the one that supposedly had jalapenos, and it was all right.
Weird, but that does seem like a very Stone thing to do, is just throw jalapenos on something like that. Jalapenos not necessarily the pepper I would use for that. I would probably go more with like a
Serrano pepper.
Serrano might be too I don't know if I go Serrano either. I might go something super vegetal, because since you have the lime in there. Like maybe even a poblano, something like that, or a green chili or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I got lost. How do we get here?
I don't even know.
I know we started talking about poblanos. Right. So this beer, it's very, it's like a salty. It's definitely got that salty lime thing that a lot of beers are going for. I mean, it's not like Miller Chill salty lime, which, by the way, if you guys ever had that, oh boy, that's a bad beer. But it's much more along the lines of
can't be worse than Bud Light Lime.
No, it's very much in the I mean, Dogfish Head has a goza that is very much like this. Any of the lime salt, the Buena Vesa, any of the lime. Oh my god, So while I'm watching this, I in the background have the fights out from the weekend, and I saw the punch that Cody Garbrandt threw to knock out Sun Tzu again. And the dude is literally touching the cage behind him when he throws that punch. It's fucking. Everybody's so high on that knockout, but nobody talks about that. Point is, this Key Lime Fluffies is fucking delicious, very well balanced. A lot of times, anytime you add salt to a beer, it just becomes salt beer. But this is fucking great, dude. You might have to get this.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm intrigued.
It's even got a touch of graham. It's not like the pie. It's not like the full-on pie beers that the mixtape beers I was getting back in the day, which are still maybe the best beers I've ever had. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
That mixtape series where it was there was those boysenberry, and there was the pie beers that I kept finding everywhere.
Well, I had some pie beers from Abnormal, which were solid.
Well, and then but there was the ones that were part of the mixtape series that were. I want to say one was peach and one was apricot. I want to say it was apricot and
oh yeah, I know
raspberry or something. But yeah, they're hella just straight cinnamon graham cracker bombs with delicious fruit flavors. Anyway, we're as close to a beer podcast as we can get. This is why TJ Santos is not a regular listener. Understandable, dude doesn't drink. But we are going to go ahead and get into this fight card, Chris. Because if we don't, we're never going to make it happen. Okay, so overall, just as we talk about this card, UFC Fight Night, Smith vs. Rakic in Vegas, you feel good about it? Because you saw the majority of this card, right?
I saw everything up until Zach Cummings, and then I saw the co-main and main, so I missed maybe 4 fights.
Okay, actually, a couple of those are pretty good. A couple of those are really sad. One of those really sad. But overall,
I'll let you recap.
Well, actually, dude,
because I was working, and it was surprisingly
fair,
busy on.
You saw a lot. Wait, so you said you did see Cummings or no?
I saw the finish for sure because my coworker
yeah.
was like, "Oh," and I was like, "What?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then I saw it happen.
Yeah, that fight was real close up until the very last second of that fight, where Zach Cummings almost killed the man. But yeah, we'll get to that. But starting off the prelims of this card, they were fucking fireworks. Part of that, though, I think we need to honestly attribute to there were some, if not big mismatches, noticeable style differences in a lot of these early fights, right?
Yeah.
So, Hannah, going into the fight with Hannah Seifers versus Mallory Martin, who did you have going into that? 'Cause I honestly saw a lot of people leaning towards Hannah Seifers, and I just couldn't do it because
of the boxing pressure. But I forgot how savvy Martin was with the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, well, see, the problem I always had is, first off, Hannah is way undersized, and second, I didn't think she was going to be able to club.
Yeah, she's like an atom weight.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, she's built for Invicta, or she's built for an atom weight division, which the UFC should fucking have. Because there's enough of them, and you build it, they will come type shit. At least more than 45. Yeah, so going into it, I didn't think Hannah Seifers was going to be able to put any kind of real damage on Mallory Martin to stop her forward pressure. And holy shit was I right up until I was wrong in that first round when Hannah Seifers just about goddamn killed Mallory Martin with the overhand right. Like, she blasted her with that overhand right, dropped her. Mallory Martin, for the rest of the round, was literally just trying not to get 10-7. Like, it was one of the most dominant 10-8s we've seen in a while after that moment. I mean, she had moments early. I feel like she was actually outboxing Seifers early in that fight. But as soon as Seifers landed that overhand, it was just survival mode. Mallory Martin also pulling guard in that round, if I remember right, which was a very, very... very smart move in the situation she was in. And so at the end of this round, it looked like Hannah Seifers looked really fucking distraught that she wasn't able to get the finish. Because she was throwing murder balls the entire time. I mean, it was all overhands and wild shit, right?
Yeah, for the most part. And I think she kind of gassed herself out a tiny bit. Once she kind of really was, she was kind of discouraged. She couldn't finish her with the striking. It just kind of went downhill from there.
I think that's the right word. I think it's even less so that she gassed, but even more so that she just got so discouraged that at the end of that round, she looked defeated already. She's like, when you see that bell ring and Hannah Seifers walk back to her corner looking distraught as fuck, you see Mallory Martin walk back to her corner looking like Mallory Martin and Invicta, you're like, all right. I almost tweeted out, Hannah Seifers is about to get fucking ground and pound, scream TKO'd like Mallory Martin used to do in Invicta. If you guys don't know, Mallory Martin has a Habib finish in Invicta where she's on top of a girl, pummeling the fuck out of her, telling her no one's gonna save you. Like I've been very high on Mallory Martin. When she can get her game going, she looks really, really good. It's just a matter of her building out her game to get to that point. And she looked good on the feet early, but yeah, she got clipped. And for her to be able to survive through that and then come back and do that scream at the end, holy shit.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to have emotions and you feel like you don't, holy shit, will that bring out some emotions in you. Fuck, man. Like, she's let out guttural screams like that in the past. After some wins, like she's had some tough wins, especially in Invicta. I'm not gonna. Let me rephrase how I was gonna say that. She's known to scream here and there after fights and during fights, but man, it was, as someone who has been a long time backer of Mallory Martin and thinks that she kind of gets slept on a little bit, as someone who has a style that is generally difficult to pull off in those kinds of divisions. I mean, she's a pressure grappler at a really light women's weight class, which is generally not the easiest thing to pull off. So for her to go through that much fucking adversity and then come out on top with that dominant a finish. And once she got that back, and she did the I forget who it was just recently that got the finish the same way, where they didn't sink the hooks, they went for the choke and then sunk the hooks. You know what it was? It's Jillian Robertson, because she talks about it in her interview with Phil, who was dropped in chat earlier, where she talks about a lot of people, they expect, because of they're so used to repetition of sequences in jiu-jitsu, sometimes if you just dive on a neck and then sink the hook second, people will just get kind of flustered because they're used to it, or like a process. And so that seemed to be absolutely what happened in this, on top of obviously Seifert just kind of having trouble. So yeah, a big fucking win for Mallory Martin. And honestly, I'm a big Mallory Martin backer. I love to see growth, and that was a big moment of it for her. So cool to see.
Yeah, big one for her. Good to see her get that dub. And
Absolutely.
speaking of another, I mean, these first like 4 or 5 fights. Oh my god,
they were all fucking wild.
Yeah, Brett, unofficial friend of the podcast, the podcast Pollyanna Marijuana.
That's right. We are longtime backers of Pollyanna Marijuana. Even though she abandoned her own nickname of Mota, we are longtime Pollyanna Marijuana backers, as is known. And Chris, going into this, did you actually have her or no?
I did. Yeah.
Did you? Because a lot of people
it
voted for
wasn't on
Whitmire
air
this week.
because we didn't. I don't think we previewed it.
No, we didn't. But like Emily Whitmire, a lot of people were picking her this week.
In my head canon, I had her.
Right. No, I mean, I always, going into fights, I figure I have one person or the other. But like, I didn't do tape study or anything. But on this,
Neither did I. I was just like, if someone just told me to point, I would just choose her because I know she's got a slick jiu-jitsu game. Well, and she starts quick.
See, I was kind of back and forth because I figured Pollyanna Marijuana is going to end up on her back for sure in this fight. But it's just a matter of how well Emily Whitmire can manage her cardio and like mind her P's and Q's on the ground. And honestly, Pollyanna Marijuana did what she does, which is snatch a super slick arm bar where she does that classic fucking bait the opposite side arm and then switch to the other side. And then she almost lost that too. If you rewatch that finish, she was so close to losing that grip, and she just barely recaptured it as they were transitioning. She barely caught the wrist and wrenched it. It was close. But yeah, man, impressive.
Yeah, impressive victory through and through.
Dude,
good.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, props to her. That's what I was gonna add.
Yeah, speaking of impressive performances, dude, Sean Brady with this mounted one-arm guillotine. Good God, is this man a beast?
Yeah, this dude. I mean, you're 13-0 now for a reason. I gotta believe they give him a top 15 guy at some point.
You have to right now. He's he's fucking everybody up. Like, what weight class is that? Oh, it's 70. Jesus.
Yeah, let me look at his.
He's like the 70-pound cater, right? Except with like way bigger upsides.
Let me see this dude.
Because he's got very like Calvin Cater vibes, but with like way less holes.
Oh wow, this is only his third UFC fight. That's impressive. Okay.
But to be fair, like, yes, it's his third UFC fight, but to have wins over Court McGee and Ismail Nardiev in his first two fights,
this dude's young. He's only about
wild
to be
as shit.
This dude's turning 28 in like 2.5 months. So he's still young, especially for that weight class.
Well, and he's had no easy fight. I mean, this was the easiest fight he's ever had, and he literally got a one-arm mounted guillotine on a dude. So, I cannot say anything other than fucking
I have
please
nothing
bring me
else
more
to say
Sean
other
Brady.
than this dude's a badass, and
Yeah.
he's gonna. While 170 is already stacked, I think he'll have he'll throw his name in there. He'll throw his hat. What's the term? I don't know.
Hat in the ring, yeah, 100%.
Hat in the ring. Thank you. I was thinking that. Yeah,
I got you. No, but not only that, maybe one of the dopest tattoos in the game. That back tat with the fucking wild ass. I forget the Japanese mask that it's referencing.
Oh yeah, it's like
It's the coolest shit.
God damn it. What's it called?
I forget. Brendan Fitzgerald always name drops on the
It's not
broadcast.
like a Shogun mask. It might be a Shogun.
No, it's not. It's like a very specific Japanese word that I can't remember off the top of my head.
I should know this from
It's like
Ghost.
Ichigari or it's not Ichigari.
Because a demon's called like a kappa.
Oh yeah, it's some. It's dude. It's definitely conjugation on that. You're so close. Let's see. It's Hanya mask. I want to say maybe Hanya, I think is the nope, that's the female version. I don't know, man. It's something like that. I can't Google this and talk on the fly about it, but regardless, one of my favorite MMA or tattoos in all of MMA, just because I feel like a lot of them are so.
Yeah, I know
repetitive.
kappa is a Japanese demon.
I thought it was a fan of a Twitch stream.
But it's not a kappa though. We say it's a what?
Fan of a Twitch stream in Japan.
I'm sure too.
Kappa. I feel like you know what? I'm the oldest fucking man. Nobody even knows Kappa references anymore, do they?
I should know this, but I'm like fucking dumb right now.
Oh my god. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is it's a dope ass tattoo. But dude, yeah, that motherfucker. Like, I'll watch him put him against anybody. I'll watch him against anybody. You want oh god, he would murder some veterans. Like, you want to kill off some 170 veterans? Like, does Sean Brady fuck up Robbie Lawler right now?
Is it Oni? An Oni mask.
It might be an Oni mask, but I'm not positive it's Oni. It's possible. Yeah.
It's either that.
That was the other. That was the other result.
It's either that or a Hanya.
Yeah, it was one of the two. I'm not sure about the male-female aspect of those, so you might be right. It might be Oni mask.
I'd say Oni,
now you say it out loud, I think you're right. But yo, so who would you take right now, Sean Brady or Robbie Lawler in a fight?
Oh, Sean Brady, not even close.
It's not even close, right?
No, and that's.
Who would you take in a fight, Sean Brady or Neil Magny?
That'd be close, but I think I'd go Sean Brady.
Me too. It's fucked up. Like, Sean Brady can very quickly be a top 10 talent.
It's funny because I just think Tom Brady.
Well, the thing with Sean Brady too is like, 100%. But the thing with Sean Brady too, though, that I'm a little worried about is like, he matches up super well with certain people, but I feel like you can give him a matchup where it could be real bad real quick.
Yeah.
Just 'cause, like, I feel like if he can't work a wrestling game, it could get really interesting. Because I feel like a lot of his game relies on being the bigger dude and being able to bully people a little bit just in grappling exchanges. And so if you give him somebody who he can't do that against...
Speaking of bully, give him to Bilal Muhammad.
Wow, so I've heard that pitched. I want to say, I forget who mentioned that this week. Maybe it was Keith Schillen on one of the recap shows. It could have also been... I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I did hear that mentioned. I don't hate that fight. I think, that's the worst matchup for him, for sure. I think Bilal Muhammad takes a close decision off him. But I think that fight would be fun as fuck, though, don't get me wrong. So, I'm a big fan of Sean Brady, and goddamn am I paying attention going forward, because that dude shows the fuck up and bangs. Like, he's very much got that Calvin Kattar kind of quality to him, where you're like, it's a dude's gonna show up and throw hands, and it's not ever gonna be an easy night. So I'm fucking here for it. Speaking of not having easy nights, dude, Alex Caceres looking good as fuck.
He's having a nice little like redemption arc, or not redemption, but like Renaissance arc.
For sure. And Austin Springer, a dude out of ATT Portland, out of the same gym as Jake Smith and Vanderford and Primus.
Chris Sunshine Williams.
I want to say Primus. Sorry?
Chris Sunshine Williams? That's his name, right? The other guy that's there?
Maybe.
The Sunshine guy?
Oh, Chris Williams. Yeah. No, Lencioni, you mean, because he changed his name.
Thank you.
That's why I got confused. Yeah. He has his own gym, I believe, but yeah, he still, like, every once in a while drops in, and they're still definitely acquaintances, if nothing else.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's all like camp specific as to where he trains and all that. But yeah, man. I mean, Austin Springer, very late notice replacement, if I remember right. But Alex Caceres doing Alex Caceres things in a way that makes me feel real good about him going forward. Man, it never makes me sad to see dudes working their game against someone who they know they're better in an aspect against. Like,
yep.
Say you're both great kickboxers, but one of you can wrestle and one of you can't. Man, I always like seeing someone out wrestle the other one.
I almost didn't recognize Caceres because he chopped off his fro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he looked like the old tough Caceres, right?
Oh yeah,
because I think on Tough he didn't have his fro either.
Yeah.
So I think he cut it. I don't know if he cut it for weight or if he cut it for coming to the show. But if I remember right, back in the day, yeah, he didn't have one either. But man, big win and personality as fuck afterwards. Which I mean, you forget sometimes because Caceres sometimes plays in other people's games, and he's had a pretty rough run recently. I mean, he had the. What was it? The loss to Crone. He had another tough fight right before that too, if I remember right. But man, big win for him, and it's good to see. I like that Alex Caceres is around. Man, he's never in a boring fight.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he'll make shit interesting. I mean, well, he'll make shit interesting as long as somebody's not just out there to straight try and grapple him. But even then, I mean, he's clearly working on it, so gotta love it.
Then we had American fighter Zach Cummings versus Italian fighter Alessio Di Chirico.
Holy shit!
Baba Di Boopy. What else can I say?
I mean, yeah, Baba Di Boopy up until he almost got Baba Di Booped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was pretty close, right?
About as close as I've ever seen to a finish at the end of a round or at the end of a fight. Except for the one Invicta one where, oh fuck, I forget who did it. Maybe Alicia Zappatella or somebody. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they literally got the finish and then they stood up at the end of the round. The other person was unconscious, but they still somehow won the decision.
Oh, is that the one Mike England ref who's trash?
That might have been Mike England. Yeah, that might have been Mike England. That sounds like a Mike England special for sure. Or at least it's definitely a casualty of the Kansas State Athletic. I guess it's probably the Missouri Athletic.
I think Tanya Evinger was involved in that. I remember you always told me that this is one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen.
Oh, well, no. The Tanya Evinger one was that literally is one of the few fights you've ever seen overturned. Is because Tanya Evinger is standing on the opponent's face, getting out of an armbar, which is Lana Kunitskaya, who, by the way, is currently signed to the UFC and doing well. But yeah, Tanya Evinger has,
and she's actually
she has her
engaged
foot
to Thiago Santos, believe it or not.
100%. Yeah, she has her foot on. She steps on lightly, intentionally lightly, steps onto her face for leverage. And pulls. Mike England says you can't step on her. Tanya Evinger is actively yelling at Mike England saying she can. Mike England says she can't. Tanya Evinger lets go and then gets armbarred. And then everyone... And meanwhile, TJ DeSantis and Joey Ketchum on commentary being like, you can absolutely do this. I don't know what the fuck Mike England is saying or doing. And then Mike England has forever been notorious. I mean, he's never been good before that, but... there's a reason why I'll never be on a big promotion again.
Was he just like, sorry?
No. He just stood by his bad decision. And then lost an appeal in fucking court. And then continues to work those shows somehow.
Oh, cool. Checks out.
Well, shout out to the
win by
Missouri
Zach
State Athletic Commission for continuing to book him.
A good win by Zach Cummings.
Oh, dude. And also, Zach Cummings, it was a very close fight. DeChirico looked good. Zach Cummings looked good, but holy fuck, dude, that end of that fight. Zach Cummings, you ever want to put a stamp on a goddamn fight? That was one of them. Good googly boogly.
You can do this next fight. I actually missed this one.
I mean, Maki Bitolo looked
That's
good
coconut
up until
bombs,
he started getting pummeled. He looked good early. He just, he's a brawler, and when he couldn't start getting his game going, he started getting a little desperate and getting bombed on. Also, Impa Kasanganai is a super, super slick kickboxer and very well rounded. And the difference in skill set showed in this fight. Very, very tough out from Maki Pitolo. Tough as shit, dude. He ate some gnarly shots in this fight and was able to hang in there throughout the whole thing. A lot of people would not have been able to. So, upside for Maki Pitolo, I mean, good God, that dude has a chin. It's pretty fucking wild.
I mean, he is Hawaiian, so.
The commentary for sure did not hesitate in mentioning that. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, because I also still don't really know what to make of Maki Pitolo. Like, I don't know. Only time will tell with what is going to become of Maki Pitolo. He did look better in this fight than he did his last fight, I feel like. And his last fight was, a couple weeks ago? I know you look better in that fight than he did one before that. Like, he's still really young in his career. Let me see. Dude's a year younger than me. And he's been fighting since 2009. Oh, boy. So, yeah, he's coming up on 11 years. So, I don't know. I mean, he's still growing, clearly. And if he continues to progress, I don't see why he can't find success. But, I feel like there's going to be style matchups that are going to end up rough for that dude down the line, unless he's able to round out his game a little bit more. Speaking of dudes who have rounded out their game and who were absolute motherfucking monsters on this card. Dude, this Ricardo Lamas versus Bill Algeo fight. Do you see this?
Not really, but it's just the reaction from one Brendan Loughnane.
Good. Well, that's frustrating. Right, because we even said on this show a year plus ago when that fight happened, Brendan Loughnane should have gotten signed that night. He was the best fighter.
Yeah, on Contender.
Yeah. And it's really frustrating that he wasn't, because he absolutely should have been. However, dude, this is a scrappy-ass fight. I mean, Ricardo...
I'll have to go back and watch this. It's this fight and the fight above it that I caught maybe 30 seconds of, because like I told you, it was surprisingly busy for Saturday, which is not busy.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not
so
a
I'm
bad
not complaining,
thing for,
but I was also like, wait, I want to watch Stand and Bang, but oh no, I gotta.
Yeah, I believe this got fight of the night also.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Which doesn't surprise me necessarily. I mean, it was a banger. Ricardo Lamas able to squeak it out at the very end. But man, really, really scrappy fight, back and forth. It was just a real straight banger. It was a Ricardo Lamas fight. I mean, where he's super, super aggressive early, starts to fade a little bit late, and starts to get banged up a little bit. But also arguably, he won the third round, definitely, with just being able to out-grapple Algeo. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this is actually his retirement fight. There's talks of it. He seemed to hint at it. He also tweeted out about how Cuba needs a revolution. I believe he even used the phrase Cuba Libre. And how they need to free themselves of the dictatorship that they're under. Which was that's a strong-ass statement from a dude.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Dude, people from Cuba don't talk like that about Cuba, because people they know die when they do. It's like Chechnya.
Imagine if Jorge Masvidal
as bad
starts
as
speaking out too.
Well, the thing is though, is like Masvidal. I mean,
well, we know where his politics lies. So.
Yeah, that was going to be my point. Is like a lot of Brazilians and Cubans seem to have interesting politics and fight sports. But to be fair, that's not just Brazilians and Cubans; it's also Americans, clearly. Which also, we should say, shouts to Ben Rothwell. You see the Ben Rothwell post?
No, but...
Dude, Ben Rothwell posted the coolest thing about, he was like, I don't want to pair here. Let me actually pull it up because I don't want to misquote him. Because it was really cool what he posted. But essentially, he posted like I didn't understand the Black Lives Matter movement until I read this, and like I'm learning kind of thing. Here, let me get the exact quote. It was, I found this really helpful. I hope we can come together and have some understanding. Listen, learn, apply. And it's for my quote unquote all lives matter friends. When the Boston Marathon was bombed and everybody's profile picture changed to Boston Strong, nobody said all city strong. When the Las Vegas shooting happened, people changed their profiles to stand with Vegas. Nobody said stand with everywhere. Have you ever seen someone counter a breast cancer post with, wait, what about colon cancer? But for some reason, if someone says Black Lives Matter, it turns into an inclusive All Lives Matter. This is not an either-or proclamation. Whether there's a crisis, we have always rallied around. When there's a crisis, we have always rallied around. When there's a crisis, we have always rallied around that particular group / city / cause. It does not diminish any other group / city / cause. It brings awareness and support where it is needed. Nobody is saying all lives don't matter, but right now, our black friends, families, colleagues, neighbors, and strangers need our support. Fucking dude.
That's great.
Way to just be a human goddamn being, Ben Rothwell, and I'm fucking here for it. We need more of you in the sport. Fuck, man. So yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to that. Anyway.
Yeah, it's appropriate. I'm all for that.
Dude, it's also like Ben motherfucking Rothwell, right? Like, you figure, like, people, the stereotypes are a thing, and people would probably have a feeling about how Ben Rothwell thought about that shit. But it is cool as fuck to see Kenosha, Wisconsin's own standing out and being like, yo, fuck that shit, y'all. Which, you'll love to see it. Alright, speaking of you'll love to see it, holy shit. Do you see Alexa Grasso fuck up June Kim?
I saw bits and pieces of it. It was just a quick 1-2 and fucking her up bad.
Yeah, I mean, this was always going to happen this way. People are like, oh, June Kim has a reach advantage. I was like, oh, June Kim doesn't use a reach advantage. Alexa Grasso can box her ass off. She's always been able to box her ass off. Her problem has always been, if you're bigger than her, or if you can out wrestle her,
you bully her in the
kind of
clinch,
shut down her. Yeah, that too. That's a very good call. Yeah, if you can kind of bully her in general in grappling exchanges, right? Like, she's willing to just play grappling exchanges enough to really limit her own striking offense, which is her best asset, clearly. Especially her boxing game. Her pressure boxing is fucking beautiful. I mean, dude, she's real pretty on the feet. And I don't mean that as a reference to how she showed her feet on camera this week because somebody asked. I don't know if you saw that. It's the fucking worst video. She's like, I don't know why people do this. It's weird as hell, but whatever. I don't care. I appreciate that you like my feet. She showed her feet on camera. You're like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not gonna.
You don't feed into it.
That you've just added 4,500 more comments for you doing that. Although, hey, you know what? Make you an OF page. Go make you some money, girl. I don't give a fuck. Go do it. But yeah, Alexa Grasso just absolutely putting a pace and a pressure on June Kim that she could not keep up with. So, big win. And speaking of speaking of paces and pressures, good boy.
This fight was upsetting.
Didn't feel good, did it?
It was funny too. I saw in comments on Twitter, someone mentioned something about Lawler, and someone's like, "Don't disrespect Lawler. He's half black." And I'm like, "No, he's not. He's half Filipino."
I was gonna say, what are Filipinos black?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Jack, my coworker, is Filipino.
He probably must have been Anthony Smith.
And Jack had no idea. Robert, he's like, "Dude, he's Filipino," and I'm like, I thought he was just white and something else. I'm like, "No, he's Filipino." And I'm like, but you're about to be disappointed and sad when you watch this fight. And he's like, fuck. Because Jack didn't get into MMA until maybe like a year or two ago because he's always just been boxing. So I was explaining to him.
Yeah, Jack's a real-ass boxing head, though.
What's up?
I said Jack's a real-ass boxing head, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, Yeah, he helps me talk about what's going on in boxing now as far as the lighter weight classes, because it's all about the lighter weight classes, like lightweight, specifically 130.
It always kind of has been.
Which is like Lomachenko, you get that piece of shit Gervonta Davis. He's good, but he's an asshole.
Yeah.
If I'm honest,
shouts to combat sports.
Then you get the welterweight division, which is great again. Terrence Crawford. You got fucking Keith Thurman. Manny Pacquiao is still alive and hanging in there, still fighting for titles, which is crazy.
Well, yeah. And just in general, I feel like the lower weight classes in boxing have always been the most fun. Outside of
they really have, because even then historically, you get a 130 to super lightweight, you get Roberto Duran, who's unstoppable. It's like
even modern, you got dudes like Triple G and fucking everybody.
Yeah, and then Canelo at welterweight. Now Canelo is going up to like middleweight, and then I was asking Jack, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, he's on all the roids."
You and Chocolatito back in the day.
Yeah, and even he's like, "Yeah, Canelo knows he's on all the steroids." I'm sure he is. The dude needs to gain weight, so he's still a great boxer. But...
everybody. If I've learned anything from MMA, I know that everybody's on steroids except for the Diaz brothers.
That's the thing too. It's
including Jake Shields.
That's the thing too. It's like I don't think Diaz brothers on steroids. But
no, they're literally not. But it's just like.
My point is, I don't think they are. But if they were ever to be caught for it, wouldn't surprise me either way. It's just it's fighting.
They're definitely never on steroids, but also they should have been.
Probably
for the era.
Diaz should have been on steroids when he fought Rory McDonald. I'll tell you that.
I would have argued more like in the era of fucking. I don't know. I was realizing any name I say after that is gonna just be defamation. Yeah. So I just stopped. But and also I'm not talking about Nate either. But we'll just keep on moving on. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know, man. This Neil Magny Robbie Lawler fight felt bad. It felt bad. Robbie Lawler didn't do anything. And he is officially not done anything for like 6 fights now.
Aside from Ben Askren. I actually watched about, what was this, the 3-round fight? I watched like 2 rounds. And I was like, okay, who won? And I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, god damn it. I was like, oh. Just like.
Yeah, I wish I could. I kind of did that for the main event, to be fair. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I even tweeted it out. I was like,
do you think the main event should have been 5? Or I don't think.
No, good God! Don't book Anthony Smith in a 5-round main event after he just got his fucking teeth bludgeoned out of his head 3 months ago. He shouldn't have even been booked on this fucking card. It's kind of goddamn horrific they even booked him.
Forgot it was Glover, right?
Yeah, it was Glover when Glover punched his teeth out of his mouth and handed him to the ref mid-fight. That was 3 months ago. This fight should not have happened. It was absolutely inadvisable, and it's the exact reason why around the 3rd round I was like, Mark Montoya and Factory X has to take a long, hard look in the mirror after this shit. Because what the fuck are we doing? Like, he once again sent Anthony Smith out to die in the 3rd round. And, I get it. It was only a 3-rounder, and I get it. Anthony Smith did have moments, but, he was done. Again. And you still sent him out again.
That's all I got, by the way, for this recap. I'm tired. I don't care. This whole light division is fucked.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to see. I think Reyes will probably beat Jan Blachowicz, and then after that, I don't know what the rankings are, because what are those? I think you just let Rakic get a shot. I don't care. I just don't care. It's
there'll be some interesting stuff.
Is this the worst weight class in all of UFC? I think it is. Besides women's 125.
Light heavy, you mean?
Besides women's 125.
145, obviously.
Besides women's 145 and then 125, this is the worst weight class in UFC.
Men's 125 is below that.
Yeah, I guess.
And also, to be fair, but yes, you're right. It's the 3rd worst, and to be fair to them, it's honestly not far behind 85 or 205. 85 and 205 drop off a motherfucking cliff after about the first 5 people. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It is definitely an era of change, which is always the most fun parts of MMA. I feel like whenever there's big turnover in divisions, that's always the most fun shit. And it seems to all happen at once because of eras and gyms and kind of people aging out. And I think we're in the middle of that right now, which is going to be cool as shit. Because that means we're going to... I mean, I think we're already starting to see a lot of people kind of break through and make names for themselves. And we're also seeing a lot of people all at once age out. And I think the UFC is just going to kind of exacerbate that even more with how willing they are to cut people who are making big money right now in order to sign people who are making short money who can fight often. So I think we got some shit to pay attention to here in the near future, and it's going to be interesting, man.
I think so. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, let's see. It looks like this weekend coming up, this upcoming weekend, we have UFC
what the hell
Vegas
do we have?
9.
I have no fucking clue.
There's Alistair Overeem versus Augustus Sakai.
What a great card.
Co-main OSP versus Alonzo Minifield. Holy shit, this card sucks. Holy shit.
So, do you want to skip this card and do a comment?
Dude, maybe, yeah, honestly.
I'm not even kidding.
Dude,
like, I know
I'm
that
not...
we kind of fucked up because we're supposed to go by, like, merit and as far as what we do, but, like, I wouldn't even really...
No, I honestly...
Like, no disrespect to this card on a serious note, but we should
like, maybe
honestly,
we'll
do a commentary on Sunday and then do a quick recap.
Here's what I'm thinking is, maybe we'll do, maybe we'll do a short, like, preview or recap, just as, like, a 30, 45 minute thing.
Or we'll do a recap on Sunday, and since I'm off Monday, I'll hit up G6 and we'll do a, well,
we'll figure it out. Because I don't want to commit anything right now since everything's real up in the air.
Fuck,
also, this is only a 9-fight card. Yeah, you're looking at it now?
Dude, at least Michelle Prahade is fine.
Dude, if that is the best...
That fucking idiot.
Like, Michelle Prahade versus Zaleem Imadaev, who I have heard the name of, and I think I've seen fight... Oh, right. He lost twice to Max Griffin and to Danny Roberts, which is why they're putting him against Michelle Pineda, because they want an early finish. Also, Sajari Eubanks versus Carol Rosa is the third from the top on this card. Holy shit, dude. Like, first off, that is a fun fight because they're both very high-level grapplers. They're both very high-level grapplers. And I think, like, this will actually be a super cool fight. I also probably favor Carol Rosa, just off of her grappling experience and the fact that I don't know that Sajari Eubanks can extend out in only grappling exchanges for that long, but fuck, man. Outside of that,
at the beginning of the card, Brian Whitey Mouse Kelleher versus Kevin Felice Navidad.
Right, which, like, that's a fun fight, but, like, also, who the fuck is Kevin Navidad? Natividad? Hunter Azure is fighting Cole Smith. Like, what the fuck are we doing? I didn't even know Marcos Rogerio de Lima was still in the promotion. Montana De La Rosa versus Viviane Araujo is actually a pretty fun fight. That'll be a fun grappling match. Moises versus Jalen Turner isn't, like, the worst thing ever. OSP versus Alonzo Minifield is interesting, but, like, fuck, man, this card. So on that note, I guess we are wrapping this here because if I keep talking about this card anymore, you're guys gonna see me fucking. I was gonna make a reference. I'm gonna off myself on this stream if we keep talking about this. I was gonna make a specific comedian reference, and I was like, you know what? I'll let you guys enjoy it, and I won't make that reference. So on that note, we're gonna wrap this here. But we love you. That's right, especially all you baseball fans out there. It won't ain't till you die. And we are going to wrap this here. Chris, do you have anything to shout out before we get out of here? I know you've been doing some stuff on YouTube. I know you've been doing some stuff on YouTube on your CMAD22 YouTube channel.
Yeah, just doing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm probably going to be streaming quite a bit tomorrow for fun. I know I've been spamming messages to you, like, if you're bored, check it out, you know. It's been fun.
Yeah, I try to do that when I'm not completely fucked up, but I'm like, I'm not going to ruin your fucking chat with me being blackout.
I don't give a shit either way. It's kind of fun. I've had a friend join in where he was really fucked up, and he's like, feed your horse that person. I was like, what?
That wasn't me, was it?
I know, it wasn't you.
I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was.
Either way, yeah, that game's great. I remember I looked it up out of curiosity. There's 3 acts, like as far as a film setup, and I think I have like a total of 15, 20 missions left. So main missions left. So I'm stoked. I've been doing just the side missions, and then I got like some legendary armory. You do all these like Ronin duels, which are sick, where you just duel people one-on-one. And I remember Trevor was watching me. He's like, "Dude, that looks too easy. Raise the difficulty. Do it." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna say no." So like I raised it to hard, and the thing I figured out is all the enemies' health stays the same, which is rad, so you can kill them just as quickly. The health isn't affected. It's just the timing is a lot different, and they're a lot more aggressive, which is cool. But it's like I'm still.
So it's like Parappa the Rappa hard mode.
A little bit, yeah. So you can still kill them just quickly, which I think is fair, because I don't like games where it's like, okay, I'll do hard mode, which means they're sponges. Like that doesn't.
No, you mean Destiny or The Division or any of that shit?
Dude,
where
The
you're just like,
Division was
oh,
only
we'll
fun
just bullet
when you play
sponge
with
you, bro.
people. Yeah. That's the one problem with the Division games. You have to play with people. If you play by yourself, there's something wrong with you.
Well, it's like most online games. Like, they're so built for...
Which, by the way, do you see the rumor of Ghost of Tsushima? They're adding a 4-player co-op mode.
I have... Oh, I did not hear that. I have heard multiplayer.
You need to get the game, dude.
Dude, okay. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And they said it's entirely unrelated to the story, and it's a brand new story mode you play with homies.
Okay, I'm in.
Dude, I'm
gonna
so
pick
good.
that up.
The
that
gameplay's so good.
Like some
yeah,
shit.
because I have the game, Kyle has the game, my coworker Jack has the game, then you get the game. Fuck it, or you're gonna be 3 of us, whatever. You know, me, you, and Kyle. It'd be dope.
No, we will absolutely go samurai some motherfuckers. I'll even buy a bottle of goddamn
sake.
Japanese. I was gonna say Japanese whiskey because I'm a goddamn adult, but yeah, that's it.
Suntory. I need to get some.
Yeah, Suntory's actually pretty.
I don't know anything
good.
besides Suntory. I'm ignorant to the fact. I know there's some other good Japanese.
I mean, there's a bunch of them, but Suntory is like up there. It depends on which Suntory product you get, but there's a lot of good Japanese whiskey.
To do that for this. I'll do it tomorrow. Get some Japanese whiskey for the stream.
I think you might have to, dude. I think officially that might have to be your new jam is figuring out Japanese whiskey cocktails.
Because I know before I was being a fucking just cliche motherfucker. Like, got another Sapporo.
No, you can't be that white dude.
Yeah, no, I gotta get the whiskey.
That's right. Hey, we shouldn't get height or something Korean.
I had sake the other day. My brother bought some dope sake that was good.
Dude, I actually like sake quite a bit, but I just never think to get it unless I'm getting sushi.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's
fair.
But also, I miss Sushi Deli, dude. I should get a Sushi Deli again. Anyway,
yeah,
we should. This is obviously the point of this the podcast where we should wrap it because now we're talking about video games and food. But until next time, you guys can find the links to all the shows we talked about SOVpod.com or thesoundofviolence.com. There we have all of our show notes where we have links to every single thing we talk about. You guys can also hit us up on Twitter, TSOVpod. We love hearing from you. You guys are always sweethearts. And please let us know the MMA podcast you recommend throughout the week. Even if it's your own show. Let us know if it's good. We'll give it a listen. And Chris, anything else before we get out of here?
Well, that's it for me.
All right.
Except go Padres.
That's right. Well, until then, go do some decking, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Liked by the sound of violence.